would you please welcome a World Cup and UK Open finalist, a two-time back-to-back winner of the Grand Slam, the Iceman, Gerwin Price!
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the fingers are pumping, quick to the point, no breaking, cooking in the scenes like a pound of bacon, burning them, being quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal and a hi-hat, pretty souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now, a two-time World Series of Darts finalist runner-up. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the World Cup and the reigning champion of the world. Let's get this party started. Snake Leg Peter.
Well, Peter Wright, ever the showman, and Gerwin Price tends to be seen as a pantomime villain. Sometimes he likes it, sometimes less so. Either way, these players can play. Alan Warren a little and Stuart Pyke are ready for this one.
And it could be, and should be, an absolute cracker. Of course, it's first to 11 in the semi-finals and finals. Peter Wright, who has won 3 World Series events, but has been beaten twice in the World Series finals, and he is in really good form. And to be fair, both wins over Damon Heta and Daryl Gurney have been very comfortable. Gerwin Price, who's never even reached a final of a World Series event, but this may be his moment, this may be his night. We shall see. As Jackie and the boys were talking about. Brilliant game. The 10-9 victory over Nathan Aspinall. And both of them are really in good form. And you have to say that at the moment, Alan, it's a toss-up for who is the best player in the world at this very moment. Is it Wright? Is it Price?
I totally agree, Stuart.
England, gentlemen,
I'm sure
first leg, it's going to throw first.
Fans from both sides will agree with that and have their own pick. This is all about this particular match to get to the final later this evening. And as you said, both in terrific form.
60.
And I'm sure both looking forward to facing each other. Scotland v Wales.
100.
It's interesting that both Alan and Chris think that the winner of this tournament comes from the winner of this semi-final. Of course, a little later on we'll see James Wade, who won this event 2 years ago against Rob Cross, who started to find some good form over this weekend at the World Series.
100.
Peter Wright may well be swapping the darts again. I think these are the darts that he may have used yesterday, different to the ones he used in the quarterfinals.
40.
But it's 10 a penny, isn't it? It doesn't really matter anymore.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't matter which ones he uses. Inevitably, they
96.
do the trick. But I still don't understand why.
100. Going Uruguay.
He was so good against Daryl Gurney.
Maybe he feels like he needs to do that kind of thing
39.
more often to keep him on his
Uruguay,
toes,
161.
keep him in the practice room.
Going Uruguay,
Paul has visit, including a bounce out for Price. But he's going to get a dart. And his favourite tops to take the opening leg.
88. Uruguay, 66.
Well, not been the powerhouse scoring that we've seen from these two players in the tournament so far. but still important. These early legs.
26. Going Uruguay 20.
We're going to have to move, absolutely. That makes it very, very difficult.
Be in the car park in a minute.
Oh, what a good dart.
Going front.
That's a brilliant dart. He couldn't have seen much of that at all. He knows how good that dart was. Price wins the first leg. On throw.
100.
21 darts. But it still gets a leg on the board.
Doesn't matter, does it? Early stages are just about,
131.
especially winning that first leg on throw, and that's what Peter Wright will be hoping to do here.
Yes, the scoring certainly wasn't there from either player, it has to be said. As you say, it was only the first leg, but still a leg to be won.
96.
Well, that's okay. We'll be happy with that. 140. 140. Two 140s in the leg for Peter Wright.
174.
Oh, look at that. He raced to the ball to take those darts side. He was so pleased with himself. 174. Brilliant setup shot.
Checking if that was in, which it is. Needs the ball.
96. Going Uruguay 100.
Well, after that fabulous setup shot. Double 10.
Games on the second
that was
leg.
brilliant.
Going front.
Visits of
The leg is going
174, then
Game.
100 finish. 6 darts, 2-0.
Yes, fabulous last two visits there. 174 set it up. Although Peter Wright had one dart at the ball.
100.
Lovely maximum.
96.
He needs to follow it up though. This is against the throw, so it's important if he can get his teeth into this match.
96.
Yeah, that World Championship
Oh,
semi-final was fraught, wasn't it? Neither player were really at their supreme best, but Peter Wright just dug in.
Yeah, it's more of a battle, wasn't it? As Peter Wright said, he needed to get his teeth into this match. Two maximums. He's only had one dart at the ball to take a leg.
Uruguay 45.
Now he should have two darts to get a leg on the board.
Games on third leg. Peter. Full leg is Peter to
Well,
throw
darter
first.
from
Game.
Snakebite. No complaints there from Gerwyn Price. So we can Wright level it up.
He's certainly throwing very quickly.
81.
I mean, he's not a slouch anyway, but there's certainly a bit more pace in his throw.
I'm just wondering whether Gerwyn Price at the moment
99.
is setting the pace to the game. Yeah, there was a lot of angst, wasn't there, before and during that World Championship semi-final. Both players had great escapes earlier in the tournament, and both thought they could win it. Both expected to win it,
100.
but it was strewn with errors and tension, and it was Peter Wright who came out winning 6 sets to 3, and then the rest will go down in darting history.
140.
That's what can happen, Stu, when you start thinking of other things instead of the job at hand.
180.
He has 6 darts if he needs them. to level up this semi-final.
Another one of those. Treble 10. A lovely
106.
set up there from Peter Wright. Well, he's got a great opportunity to get level.
He'll stay there. He'll stay there. He'll want to put the pressure on.
108.
Absolutely.
Injury required.
Absolutely. Did the right thing. Oh, he's checking.
He thought
He's
it was
walking.
it.
He's just fallen in the pond. Oh,
Well,
20.
well, that's obviously because of
Injury required. 4.
thinking that first dart was in. He was in complete control of the leg. He could lose it.
Yeah,
He has lost it.
that's the 180 just put a bit of pressure on.
To throw first.
And then
Well,
Peter Wright then just lost concentration, didn't he?
yeah, thought it was in, went to the board,
Game.
and then obviously lost his angle, his sight. It's cost him the leg. Instead of being 2-2, it's 3-1. And against a throw in this leg.
121.
Just a couple of errors creeping in. Stewart.
And of course, last year's Grand Slam final,
42.
Price beat Wright by 16 legs to 6 in arguably one of the best performances in a major final that we've seen
125.
in the last, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years. He was that good. I mean, it was that good, that performance. I mean, there's nothing that Peter Wright could do about it. It was the complete performance. And sometimes it happens like that, doesn't it? When it's your night, nothing will stop you and nothing will go wrong. And at the moment, nothing is stopping Gerwyn Price here either.
And when you've got a player, Stuart, that's really hungry and really wants it, and they're at the top of the game despite that maximum from Peter Wright. Price looking good here for 4-1.
Another 12 darter, and this has been a brilliant performance thus far from the Welshman. He's dominated. We've seen some 180s, some fantastic setup shooting, some errors, some tension. Just what we hoped for. Price leads 4-1 in the first semi-final. The 2020 World Series finals in Salzburg in Austria, and it's the Welshman Gerwyn Price who is dominating thus far, averaging 101 against Peter Wright and leading by 4 legs to 1. And we were talking about the speed of the game, and Peter Wright is certainly throwing quicker, but I also think that Gerwyn Price is setting at the moment the pace of the game, and Peter may just be better served going back to the game that he knows and the pace that he knows. Let's have a look in this second session. What do you think, Alan?
Well, you would think he's experienced enough to know what he's doing.
99.
Most players are nowadays. But I definitely noticed he was throwing quicker in the first 2 or 3 legs.
140.
Well, look at that. After the first leg that Price just managed to win.
21.
3 12s and a 14.
Yeah, slight missed opportunity from Wright in leg 4. Well, he missed up the double.
140.
Price took it, thank you very much, and then started the next leg with a 180. So it just shows you that, okay, I got away with that one.
100.
You're not going to have a chance in this one. Treble 18.
Another 12 darter.
Oh, this will cheer him up.
It's on the 6 leg. Peter Wright. 7 leg is going to throw first.
Brilliant.
Needs to do against the throw, Stuart.
Yeah, 4 12 darters already in this match.
177.
A 177, a 174, 5 180s.
And we started with a 21 darter.
We'll forget about that. We started in the second leg.
Well, it just shows you what level it's gone to since that first leg.
It's just what we've come to expect from these two great protagonists of the hockey.
Needs to fill it to get back in the leg.
140.
Thoroughly enjoyable.
60.
He wasn't quick getting those darts out, was he?
Said it on the last visit. He needs to fill it to have a realistic opportunity of the leg.
Yep, it's in.
Even a 140 is 161.
Oh!
That's even better. What a great angle.
They were fantastic darts. Brilliant angle.
Ooh, treble 18 would have given him a shot at the ball.
132.
But what a great setup.
They do require 121.
They missed 1-2-1 on the ball in leg 2. Can he get it and get himself well and back in the game? No, it hasn't happened.
57.
So Price to maintain that 3-leg advantage.
Real quality.
Game on the 7th leg, going Price. 8th leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, Gerwyn Price in his quarter-final against Nathan Aspinall was put off a touch by a shout from the crowd, but recomposed and regathered himself superbly. Nothing's putting Peter Wright off on the 180s, but a couple of mistakes so far in this match have cost him.
Well, he's playing great, but what Price is doing on throw, he's only allowing him 12 darts or 9 at the board.
Yeah.
Or 131.
But Peter Wright knows that he has to break the throw of Gerwyn Price.
Price knows it as well.
Yeah, twice. And Price, as you say, has been very, very strong on his own throw.
You're just limiting the opportunities of your opponent if you're playing at such a level on your own throw. Even a 15-darter, you're only allowing 12 darts.
Well, averaging 108 and losing.
140. They do require 90.
Good first one.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's better.
Peter Wright.
11 darter this time.
First. Game on.
He had to get it as well because Price was on his tail. Fantastic standard this is now, Stuart. It really is. I mean, we come to expect it. We've said it so often. You said it earlier. They do it so often to each other.
60.
Well, look at that, 108. Sean, well, just gone down a little after that 60, 106 and a bit. Nearly 104 for Gerwyn Price, and we're into the 9th leg already.
96.
And not letting us down in terms of quality. Yet again, no pressure
41.
on the Price throw. Or rather, to put it the other way, Price dominant on his own throw.
Yeah, a bit of both in this leg, but generally it has been Price not letting Peter Wright have any chance.
The only leg that the Welshman lost was when, if you remember, Peter Wright hit 2 180s to break the Price throw in the 3rd leg.
92.
And again, leaves himself tops after 12.
If he carries on doing this, Peter Wright has got no chance of getting back into
140.
it.
Going to require 40.
Good as you'll see on throw.
Games on the 9th leg, going Price. 10th leg is Peter to throw first.
Well, the last leg before the second break, and Peter Wright has the darts, and you feel that the way that Price is playing, especially on throw, Peter Wright has to hold his throw here
100.
to go in at the break, only 2 down.
Yeah, to have that positive thought process going into the break, he's got to be thinking, if I do take this leg, I've won the session 3-2.
100.
Yes, I'm still that break behind. but I'm only 2 legs behind.
Lovely action there, hardly any movement at all.
180.
Sticks 180s for Peter Wright.
80.
Good position now.
There's a little movement on the back leg, but apart from that, it's a lovely throw, isn't it?
It's going for the ball, maybe. Yeah,
105.
good thinking. 116 gives him 2 darts out of trouble.
131.
Lift of the
BJ
leg from the Welshman, but
116.
it works for him.
419s for tops.
For
There's the
another
419s.
12
Yeah,
darter.
it's on
We've got
there.
12,
Peter
11,
Wright.
12, 12, 11, 13, 14. Such has been the quality of this semi-final. Magnificent entertainment. And Peter Wright very much staying in with a shout. Gerwyn Price, though, deservedly in front. Don't go anywhere. This is brilliant. Price leads 6-4. We're witnessing something very special in this World Series semi-final. 8 180s, 2 ton plus finishes, 11, 12 and 13 darters galore, but it's Gerwyn Price who at the moment has proved to be very, very difficult to crack on his own throw, who has the lead at 6-4. First to 11 will be the first man through to the final a little later on in Salzburg. Peter Wright knows that he has to find a way of breaking the Price throw not once but twice.
Yes, that's definitely the key.
100.
The chances are limited and very minimal.
134.
Of scoring like this from Price. It's going to take something special, you feel, Stuart, from Peter Wright. He played well in that session.
57.
Well, as you said, you know, that if he's winning legs in 12 and 13 darts, Peter Wright's going to have to produce a 9 darter or a 10 darter to break the throw. Highly unlikely.
$140. Going your wide
So even here, after 9, he's left 204.
Recovers superbly. And Peter Wright saw the treble 5. You might have thought, well, hang on, I've got an opportunity here, but
After 12, he's left 32 again.
absolutely.
But he's doing it on a consistent basis.
52.
Wright is just getting nowhere near on the Price throw. Well, he's got a chance now, but it's an outside chance. 3 unexpected misses. First time since the first leg that
Probably his worst leg for a while,
yeah,
actually. 'cause
absolutely. Since the
He
first
could have
leg.
been in a better position to take the leg.
No worries.
Top leg is Peter to throw first. Game on. $95.
Well, you see where they're winning the legs.
$140.
He's having to produce some great darts to hold throw.
Yep.
41.
And that's let Gerwyn Price in. He's got the throw
And son.
and he's making the most of it.
170, sir.
Exceptional darts from the Welshman. He
140.
knows at this moment in time he's got Peter Wright exactly where he wants him. But
Both-
that has to be maintained.
Both averaging 105.
82.
That's how good it's been, but Price has manufactured more opportunities to win legs Is this the comeback from Peter Wright?
135. Going Uruguay,
It's not as bad
102.
as it could have been, but a chance for Price here, which he has manufactured by power scoring. Tops for 8-4.
So it was always going in.
13 leg, it's going to throw first. Game on.
A break of throw, and it's a long, long, long way back now for the world champion in the World Series finals.
123.
Look at those numbers after that first leg. Forget about that first leg, they were warming up. And since then, it's been spectacular.
Exceptional. And Peter Wright has hit a lot of maximums, but he's only won 4 legs. And that's why. And he gets a good score. Price follows it.
Well, after the first leg, which we say
100.
was 21, we've only seen one leg. In the next 11, one in more than 14 darts.
134.
That's how good it's been.
Yeah, incredible standard.
And you say, look, another brilliant setup shot.
He's just
180.
relentless. Since the early part of the match, he's been relentless, especially on throw.
Oh, it talks about the complete performance that Price produced in the Grand Slam final to beat Peter Wright. It's this sort of performance, but actually did it for longer.
Uruguay, 140.
And look, like the last time he had an opportunity to break the Price throw, it was 144. This time it's 140. That's how far he is away on the Welshman's throw.
60. Going Uruguay, 20.
No messing.
Game shot the 13 leg, going Price. 14 leg is Peter to throw first.
Well, whether you're a
Game on.
Gerwin Price fan or not, you have to admire this performance. It's been fantastic. 8 180s and losing 9-4.
Just doesn't seem possible, does it?
43.
Scratch of the head there, but one way ahead.
140.
180, 140. He almost seems to be, or have to do that on every leg, Stuart.
180.
4 180s for the Welshman, but he's also had 2 177s and a 174.
105. $99. Peter Uruguay, 76.
Well, it's a whole throw. Changed his mind. Changed his mind and went for the big one. Can see his plan.
40.
I'm not happy. Understandably so, because he's on his way to losing this
59. Peter
unless
Uruguay,
something very
36.
extraordinary happens.
And on the 14th leg, Peter
Well,
Wright.
stops the rock.
13 leg is going to throw first. Game.
Well, he won that middle session, as they said, Stuart, 3-2, but he's looking like he's
140.
going to lose this session 4-1, as he did with the first one.
Gives an insight as to what it's like as a player at this level. When your opponent, you literally cannot get anywhere near him on his throw. Literally nowhere near.
You almost feel at that point, you mentioned before the amount of 180s Peter Wright has hit, but it's once you've lost your throw, your opponent
60.
isn't giving you any opportunities to break throw, but still challenging your own, and it just feels like whatever you do doesn't make any
44.
difference.
Well, the fly got a right old swat.
So you mentioned it before, Stuart. Gerwyn Price on a couple of legs recently has missed a double,
95.
but Peter Wright has been left with 144 and 140. So he wasn't in a position to really challenge to take the leg.
94.
Even with the last dart, manages to find the target to leave himself on 100.
Just fill it in, go for it. There you go.
180.
The first time we've seen real pressure on the Price throws since very early on.
Two at the top. There's one.
It may not make any
Great
difference.
marker. And there's the other. Thank you very much.
Well, that sums up how really good Gerwyn Price has been in this game. A superb performance. And to be honest with you, I don't think anybody would have lived with Price over the last half hour. He needs one more leg for a place in the World Series final. Tops. Superb from the Welshman. Acknowledged and applauded by Peter Wright, who knows that there's absolutely nothing he can do about this barrage from Gerwyn Price. Peter Wright averaging 107.5, and he's nowhere near. That tells you how well his opponent has been playing.
16 leg is Peter the
The
throw
last visit,
first.
Stuart, just sums it all up for me.
Yeah.
Now, whatever Peter Wright has done, he can't get anywhere near Gerwyn Price.
140.
That first leg was a warm-up. And since then, all but 2 legs
42.
in 14 darts or less. That's classy.
134.
Outstanding performance.
58.
Well, if he is to lose Peter Wright, he may make history as having the highest losing average in this event.
125.
I'm sure he'll be overjoyed.
108.
140.
Getting a pasting.
Peter require 102.
Bullseye for double 16.
70.
Yes, even with everything he's been hit by,
32.
Stuart, that last leg, if he had have taken it 9-6, would have still had half a chance.
17 leg is going to throw first.
Gerwyn Price is just denying him all the way through the match. Not just on one occasion, but on 4 or 5.
But he'll keep cracking on.
Needs a couple of 12 darters, Stu. Maybe that might not even be enough. The way the game has gone.
83.
Surprised you stayed there initially, but the reason being is that he was gambling he could leave 170, but it was a gamble. It's paid off.
Going for the big finish in a special performance from Gerwyn Price.
91. Going to require 170. .94. Peter require 150.
Should have gone for 3 bullseyes.
You would have.
90.
You might not have guessed after the first dart though, Stuart.
Double 8 to complete a magnificent performance. And there it is. As good as you will get. And if he plays like that in the final, he is going to take some beating. Acknowledged by Peter Wright that Gerwyn Price goes into his first ever World Series final, and it happens to be at the World Series final. Brilliant from Price. He takes out Peter Wright, 11-6. Coming up, it's James Wade and Rob Cross for the right to play Gerwyn Price.
Peter Wright, 11-6 to reach tonight's World Series final. He averaged 102. Peter, in defeat, averaged 108 with a 50% checkout rate. Here's Price with Dan.
Gerwyn, the world champion has just averaged 108 and hit half his darts at doubles there, and you've beaten him comfortably. What a display.
Yeah, I felt comfortable most of the way through that game, and I knew once I broke him and I was, in the first break 4-1 up, just had to hold my throw. He had to break me 2, maybe 3 times to beat me, and I was just concentrating on my own leg. Even after the last break there, he started off with a 180 or 177, and I thought, just let him have this one and just concentrate on the next one, and that's what I did.
This is your 5th big TV final in a year, Gerwyn. Is this getting easier, this big stage darts, Lark?
I don't think it's getting easier, but I'm getting better. That's the main thing, and give me another 2 or 3 years, and I'll be a little bit better again.
If you play like that, do you think you can be beaten this evening by whoever comes to the other half of the draw?
No, even when I turned up after the Pro Tours, I was full of confidence, and I knew if I could bring, especially a few of the games that I played in the autumn series, if I could bring that game this week, that I wouldn't get beat. And I haven't reached those heights yet, but I'm in the final.
The winning run continues. Good luck in the final.
All right, thanks.
Wonderful performance from Gerwyn Price there. So we have our first finalist, but who will he play? Rob Cross showed real quality at the death to see off Michael Smith earlier, and he takes on the 2018 champion James Wade, who got the better of Glenn Durrant this afternoon. Both men have been talking to Dan.
Rob, kind of a transitional period for you these last few months, but how much confidence do you take from winning a couple of games here already?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's obviously I struggled winning. I've just struggled playing my normal game, I suppose. At the same time, it's nice to sort of go up there and feel relaxed and try and hit your best stuff when you really need it. It's weird, and I found that sort of couple of legs against Michael at the end, and now I feel confident again. It's nice. The more it comes back in, the better I play.
Since lockdown and obviously having another baby, do you think this is the best or most consistent you've played this weekend?
I'm having moments. I'm hitting 12s easy when I'm on, and then all of a sudden there's nothing when I'm not. So it's just one of them. I just want to go out and play a whole solid game, really. 100 a 4, 100 a 5, and that'd be nice.
In the final session of action in a big TV major, this is where you should be, isn't it? It's been a while though.
Yeah, it's all about interest, It's hard to be interested at times, and I've been here for a long time, so I'm here, and I hope to progress a little bit further.
The spell of the last few months where there hasn't been the opportunity to play much darts, let alone in front of a crowd, does it fire the interest getting back and playing in this kind of atmosphere?
Think so. I think you're right in saying it does fire a bit of interest. I certainly don't like playing with no crowd. I think that's a bit strange to me. But obviously with the times we've got in our hands now, we're lucky we're playing darts full stop. So very grateful.
Wright, Price, and a former champion here, and James Wade in the field as well as you.
I've won before. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Look, at the end of the day, if I turn out and I get the emotion going, what I need, then I can win this hands down.
Best of luck.
Man to beat in this match, James Wade, the winner here in this event 2 years ago. The bookies can't split them, Chris.
No, I'm not surprised. I can't split them on previous performances. Their 15th meeting, and it's 7 apiece. Their most recent meeting was in the Players' Championships Summer Series, where they met in the final of Players' Championship 12 a couple of months ago.
16.
Well, that's 6 weeks ago. And it was James Wade that ran out a big 8-2 winner. Both of them averaged 95 and change.
Rob Cross has certainly got himself into a bit of shape this year, hasn't he? He's lost some timber, looking a little bit better than he was last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them have been searching for some form in the summer. There was some brief patches from Rob Cross. The semi-final of that particular Players' Championship where he lost to James Wade. In the semi, he beat Mensa Sulovic 7-2 with 110.10 average. In the quarterfinals, he beat Jamie Hughes 6-5 with 101.5.
95.
So, you know, he was showing some serious signs of a return to form, and then in the autumn series events, and of course we know what unfolded with the Premier League, he just seemed to go completely off the boil. But if he can find that kind of form, well, as we know, he's a match for anyone.
Wife Georgia wasn't well in the weeks prior to the birth of their fourth kid,
60.
little Bobby, who was born in August. A little bit of belated congratulations for that one.
Absolutely.
But they'll have to play
96.
wonderfully well when they come to the final if
follow
Gerwin
that.
replicates what he did. I mean, goodness me, what a performance that was.
Peter Wright threw the kitchen sink at him, didn't he? He finished with 108.1 average. There's only one other higher losing average I can recall in the World Series, and that was Phil Taylor against Corey Cadby back in 2016. It was over a much shorter format, of course. Corey Cadby winning 6-2, but Phil had 111.65.
And wound up losing.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
123.
James Wade, in his match earlier on, took out some real big pressure finishes.
Well, that's his trademark, of course, isn't it?
94.
Well, when they're both at their best, it's very much a trademark of both. Great finishers from, you know, 80 upwards under pressure as well.
Well, Wade, he couldn't take out 103 there. Let's see what Rob
51.
Cross can do with 124. Treble 20 the first dart, then maybe looking at 14 and bull. Can't be treble 18, can't be done now.
63. James record 52.
Tops for Wade for the opening leg on throw. A race to 11, double 10.
32.
Well, an early opening for Rob Cross.
61.
Maybe go for 25. Well, he did, but he's missed it. That was 17 there, 12 for double 16. He's missed the 12 as well, dear me.
Well,
35.
Wade did take a while to get going against Duzza, a couple of legs.
This time, he had one of those earlier on
Low
against Glenn. His doubling was tremendous, but he had one that's normally his favourite double 10.
Yep.
Can't get a lot closer than he did then.
He's on the first leg.
So, break of throw.
Cross was quick out the blocks
Second
against
leg,
Michael
Rob
Smith, of
to
course,
throw first.
before it ended up going to well, it turned into an absolute thriller.
.96.
Wade's form that day, John, when he did beat,
59.
or when he did pick up the title. Last 16, 6-4 win over Aspinall, both players averaging 102. Quarterfinals, beat Michael Smith 6-0 with a near 100 average. Semi-finals, took care of Ian White 7-4. Ian White 103.4, James Wade 103.2. I mean, it's staggering numbers.
140.
Fair to say that this...
And only last week, of course, he hit a 9-darter.
Fair to say that this will be picking up. Notably, after a very quiet opening leg.
134.
Both were averaging in the 60s. 68 to Wade. Rob Cross 66, but it'll start to pick up.
54.
I think.
If it doesn't, we'll be here a while. There was a 22-dart opening leg. My kind of game, that. But it was a break of throw.
And averages don't count when it comes to who wins the match.
Well, Peter Wright in the last one being a perfect example. 9 180s, 50% on his doubles, 13 140s, an average of over 108, and still got, well, 11-6 is a bit of a thumping.
Gerwin just looked almost invincible on his own throw.
Yes.
You heard in the interview afterwards, he's just delighted with the way he's playing at the moment, and he's saying he's not yet reached top form here in these championships. If he does, we're going to be in for some treat in the final, whoever is up against.
He was 100% switched on from start to finish.
Well, we did say that earlier on, didn't we? I mean, he's a fit lad, and he can stay the distance.
44. Jones require
But
92.
this would be typically Wadey to nip in and pick his pocket.
8 for the pick to be complete, not this time.
84. Robbie require 8.
4, 22 dart leg first time around. This time an improvement. Gets there in 19 and holds his throw.
Neither of them really can put it down to fatigue. They've both had a good
93.
5 hours to wind down and then wind it back up.
99.
After the fabulous standards of the last match, I'm saying I'm sure it is going to improve, but Rob Cross at this point averaging 74.66, James Wade 72.19.
I won't thank you for
100.
that, JR.
There was a song about the only way is up, wasn't there?
100.
Checkouts there. Wade, normally a good finisher,
39.
yet to have a success after 7 attempts. He'll pick it up though, I'm confident.
140.
James Wade looking good to get his first chalk on the board.
One man to have had a 170 checkout this weekend.
Yep.
Which he managed against Glenn earlier on. Tops then.
60. $97. Danger required 20.
Double 10 to get into the match. Double 5.
He's on the third leg.
Well, that'll
James Wade.
make him feel a wee bit better,
Rob
although he
Roper.
celebrates getting in there with a shake of the head. 17 dart leg.
Believe it or not, John, so far today there's only been 4 averages under a ton.
99.
Is that though? Is that right?
Daryl Gurney 99.39. James Wade 99.14. Michael Smith 98.1. Rob Cross 98.67. All the other average today in excess of 100.
140.
Well, that just tells you the wonderful standard of darts that we've had from Salzburg this afternoon and this evening.
Tungsten
60.
treat so far today.
And things you sense here are just starting to warm up.
140.
First 140 in the match
97.
for Rob Cross.
Well, we require 122.
Still a break of throw to the good. Treble 19's the dart he needs to be looking for now. And he's got it, so tops.
102.
Time on his side.
Plenty. Wade, 9 darts thrown, only just halfway through the leg.
100. Robbie required 20.
Double 10 for the hold of throw to maintain the 2-leg cushion. Double 5. This is quite an important one.
10.
Well, a
James
glimmer of an
Record,
opportunity for
48.
Wade to break back. Not impossible. It is now.
100. Robbie required 10.
Double 5 cross. Double 1.
No score. James required
Now this
48.
really is a chance for Wade. Tops. Well,
28.
missed that by a long way, Chris.
Robbie
The
required
problem is,
10.
John, sometimes you can hold on to a performance like this, and you know, there's a huge game to play in probably just over an hour or so, and I can assure you,
96.
either of them, whoever comes through this, performs to anything like this kind of standard, Gerwyn Price is going to give one of them an absolute thumping.
58.
Wade, normally so strong on double 10, 0 out of 6 on that side.
Yeah.
0 out of 3 on 20s.
His 2 favourite doubles, that's not a good sign. Totally out of sorts, both of them.
Wade averaging 77, Cross averaging 75.
And what they're doing, you see, because neither one is kicking on, so they're you can sort of drag each other down and or drag each other along. I think if one of them kicks, the other one will follow.
138.
Leaves 167.
Puts him on a finish. Will that be the moment perhaps to start to ignite the match?
100.
Well, he doesn't need to get this. It's possible, but just looking to set it up.
59.
Break at the end of this leg. (4-1) or 3-2.
97. Judge requirement, Nate.
Tops.
88. Robbie require 146.
146 then for Rob Cross for another break of throw. He's won his 3 legs so far in 22, 19 and 19. Not happy.
78. James required 20.
James Wade, a must take, you'd think. Not had one of these yet. That's 8 he's missed on double 10. At last, in it goes. Narrows the gap to 3-2 after what was a fairly indifferent opening little session. The 2 players know it, shaking their heads as they leave the stage. Rob Cross leading 3-2. Final in Salzburg. James Wade and Rob Cross. Rob Cross leading 3-2. A break of throw to the good. And if you're just joining us, you perhaps don't know that Gerwyn Price won the first semi-final against Peter Wright. And what a fantastic standard there. 9 180s for Wright, 4 for Price, 4 177s to add to that. Gerwyn Price averaging 102, throwing superbly on his own throw. Peter Wright averaging 108 and being defeated. Now contrast that with 0 180s for these two, 77 average for Wade, 76 for Cross. And it's fair to say, Chris, that these two guys need to make a fresh start.
Yes, absolutely, and that's a great way of putting it. They've got off stage, and you just sort of dust yourself down and get back out there and try and make something happen.
60.
But the problem for both is they both recognise the other is not performing, and they're just both forcing everything. They're trying too hard.
Is that something that a darts player, a pro darts player, can do? Is there a point at which, you know, you're trying, that by trying too hard you maybe get tension into your throw 100. And that affects the way you're letting the guys.
My theory is that's pretty much, you know, Michael Smith. That's part of the issue. You know what you're capable of. You know, is it only in recent weeks you know, they've been producing stunning
100.
darts. You know, James Wade was magnificent against Glenn Durrant, of course, and then he's not able to replicate it in this one. So the longer it goes on,
100.
And if your opponent is literally blowing you away and hitting big scores and taking out big shots, you know, in that scenario you can't really do a lot about it. But when your opponent's pretty much playing the same way you are, you then sort of just try that little bit too hard. You over grip the dart, start using more muscles than is necessary, and you get more moving parts.
Robbie require 170.
Well, Rob Cross, 12 darts to 170. 2 treble 20s would have left the bull, but not to be. James Wade, who had a 170 earlier on, is on 184. Well, that's a better visit from Cross. Set up to double 18 after 15.
100. Robbie requires 36.
See if he can tuck this one away with the break of throw to once again put himself 2 legs to the good, and does with a 16 darter.
Best leg of the match, that one.
Yep. Wade won one in 17, and now Cross winning that in 16.
100.
That kick-start the match.
Well, I'm sure the crowd would hope so. It's all a little bit subdued there.
Well, the Lord Mayor show after the last one, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. You don't see too many matches
as good as
more dramatic than that.
Yeah, as good as
100.
Gerwyn Price was against Peter Wright. That was, well, outstanding from both.
With only 1,500 people in the arena and the crowd noise levels not at
60.
as they were, we were able to hear quite dramatically just exactly how Gerwyn Price celebrates his leg wins. Loudly, I think is the word of putting it.
He doesn't hold back.
Cross not able to get into this leg remotely.
21.
Disgusted. It's more like it. Good setup.
38.
Possible 13 dart leg for James Wade.
Is the match going
Will
to
make him feel better.
Is it going to take off at last? Let's hope so.
98. James, you require 40.
Tops for a 13 darter and gets
on the
it.
7th flag.
It's
James
more
Wade.
like it. It's like the James Wade we know. Been winning major championship titles since 2007, when at the age of 24 he won the UK match play.
59.
James has put his average over the 80 mark for the first time.
121. .48.
Rob Cross looking bemused at the darts that he's throwing.
Well, no doubt both of them out in the practice room would have been putting them in off the lampshade.
Like it.
130.
Quality cover shots.
9 darts thrown though, John, and not even halfway through the leg.
140.
Wade looking to get back from that early break of throw for Rob Cross, trying to get back onto level terms here.
100.
Cross.
A chance. He doesn't look likely to take 160 out.
He certainly doesn't so far.
41. Robbie require 160.
Would have been sod's law if he'd got one then, wouldn't it?
140.
Yeah.
158.
Yeah, we're yet to see a max. We've only had 5 140s in the match
134.
as we head into the
Uruguay 20.
9th leg.
Double 10, Rob Cross. Well, he didn't look
Johnny
like
Berg,
holding that
Rob
leg,
Cross,
but he
five
has
leg
done.
James to throw
16
first.
darts, 5-3 ahead. Still that one break to the good and maintaining the advantage.
140.
Last 3 legs have all been 16 darters.
99.
Fortunately, it's not sweet 16.
92.
Averages still poor. Just under 80 for Cross. 85.8 there, as you can see. And you'd expect to see these players well in excess of 100 for their first 9.
99.
Their first 3 visits to the Oki.
And there's no way you can't dress it up to be something that it's not.
100. He's required 170.
All you can say is that it remains a fairly close match.
86.
Rob Cross 181.
$134. James require 84.
So treble 20, double 12. 14 would leave the bullseye.
59. Robbie require 47.
Double 16. 14 dart leg if he can take this away. Well, slowly things are getting a wee bit better, and Cross with another break of throw there. It's now 6-3.
10th leg, Rob to throw first. Game on.
Best leg of the match. 15 dart break a throw, as you say.
137.
And a break after this leg. And James Wade will have to give himself a good talking to.
100.
Cross starting to hit bigger numbers.
Oh, John, I think he did say in that interview with Dan Dawson, he feels like he's either really very, very good or really, really poor. There's no, he doesn't have a B game right now, but that's an A star for that visit. It's a must-win leg for me, this one.
For James Wade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes to the break, which we have at the end of this leg. If he goes to it,
well, it's either
7-3 down.
4 adrift or just 2. It's a huge swing, isn't it?
26.
First dip for the finish goes to the former world champion Rob Cross. Single or treble on that. Oh, he's missed it. Needed the single for bullseye, and he put it in 3.
161. $65.
So
Robbie
Cross with
requires
another
56.
opportunity.
Possible 14 dart leg. 20 for double 18, his favourite double.
Yeah, he likes it up here. Double 9. Doesn't like
47.
that. Anything
James
but.
require 96.
Treble would leave double 8. It's just not happening for either man.
No, and he's the first indication of real frustration from James Wade. He knows this is a great opportunity. Oh my goodness.
Goodness me, what is that?
That leaves double 3, John.
It does.
I mean, he shouldn't be anywhere near that.
Absolutely didn't want that. Yeah, that's horrible.
3. James require 48.
8 for tops.
Tops then. for Wade to get that precious break, which he does. He's just about managed to cling on in there. Having a word with the referee saying, what am I doing wrong? Everything's going wrong. This isn't me playing. I'm 6-4 down. They're not going where I'm aiming. Rob Cross might be saying the same, but he's 6-4 up as he leaves the stage. Slurp of something, go for a little walk. Players have done something similar and come back to the stage, still hoping to raise the standards. James Wade, averaging the higher at 85, is trailing 6-4 to Rob Cross, whose average at this point stands at just 81. Still waiting for his first 180. James Wade has had just one.
That was a huge final leg of that second mini session for James Wade, pinching the 10th leg to close the gap to 2. That was a big swing.
I'd have loved to have known what he said to the referee, George Noble. George had a little chuckle, didn't he?
Somebody asked him if he wanted to play instead. You can see it. It's been a struggle for both. And is there enough time for either to right the wrongs before they face Price?
Gerwyn Price awaiting, and just a 20-minute break, isn't it, between the semi-final and the final?
Yep, that's it.
It's not long to get your head on after playing as badly as this.
No,
whoever's the winner.
To try and, you know, dust yourself down and brush this off.
60.
Whoever wins, you're going to be. I mean, you're going to be disappointed with your performance, and they both know how well
100.
Gerwyn Price is playing. Of course, he won the final 2 events of the autumn series, so he's on the crest of a wave. He's unbeaten in, what are we into now? 4 days of darts.
24.
4 days of darts and a fair number of matches, all played at very, very high level.
Exactly, against
140.
the very best players in the world. But this is much better from Wadey.
12 darts down to 61. Cross still with the advantage of that break of throw.
Treble 7 for tops. That's beautiful.
That's more like it. 14 darter.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
That's the way he was playing against Glenn Durham.
Well, Glenn will be watching this, scratching his head.
Yeah, he'll be thinking, where was this fellow when I was playing earlier on? First maximum for Rob Cross. And with a comfortable, healthy advantage in this 12th leg.
$121.
Had a difficult year, Rob. Lost his grandfather earlier in the year to the COVID virus. Grandfather was a passionate supporter of Rob in the early stages when he made his breakthrough.
100.
And I know the loss of him hit him hard. But he's throwing more like it here.
Having a new baby is never easy, of course. And then it's being away and the emotional side of that. I do tend to see a dip in players' performances when they just have a baby and they're away a lot early.
Michael van Gerwen in a similar situation.
Yep.
28. Change record 137.
137. Not going to be a pickpocket moment for James Wade. Rob Cross coming back with double 4 required to hold his throw with a 16 darter.
Require 8. Finish on a 12 flag,
Yep.
roll cross. 13
And
flag,
still
James to
the
throw
break of
first.
throw to the good.
Yep, re-establishes that two-leg cushion.
83.
Winning the match, Rob Cross, at this point with an average of 81.5.
Yeah, 17 points lower than the lowest average we've seen today.
57.
You just can't shake it off.
Few of the fans
60.
trying to inspire the players to up the ante a bit, I think.
Yes, they're not giving them a great deal to cheer about at the moment.
100.
James Wade from this point obviously cannot afford
49.
to get broke at any stage.
This is not what we'd anticipated for a semi-final of a major championship. Cross has got himself a cushion, and if he gets another break here, Wade is in real trouble.
139.
That leaves 170. But advantage still with Rob Cross.
100. He's at 170.
Well, he's done this once today. Needs another for the bullseye. Oh, not again, surely. Oh, what about that?
Has that come from?
What on earth was that? After what we've seen for the last half hour, 40 minutes, he goes and produces that. A moment of absolute brilliance.
140.
Never try to second guess a dart player. Remarkable check out
140.
from James Wade. From literally, he didn't look like he could muster that up.
Well, it's been barn doors and rear ends of agricultural animals and banjos, hasn't it, up till there? And then suddenly he produces a throw of that precision and absolute
60.
brilliance.
Unbelievable. 2 170 finishes today.
60.
For James Wade.
The Cross first onto a finish, and despite the spectacular nature of that 170 checkout, it was only a hold
59.
of throw.
Yeah,
Robbie
correct.
Record 161.
He needs to produce some brilliance like that on the cross throw.
93.
The Cross in a good place now.
60 points away from moving 8-6 up. A race to
60.
11, of course.
Robbie requires 68.
Best of 21 legs, no tiebreaker.
Treble 20 for double four. No. Bullseye if he wants to, but he doesn't.
36.
Chooses just to set it up.
$134. Robbie requires 32.
Double 16 as Cross moves closer towards the finishing line. This would hurt James Wade, and he's fired it in
40
there.
flag, Rob Cross. 50 flag, James to throw first.
16 dart hold this time for Rob Cross. Wade
100.
only in the leg at the, well, it was too little too late, wasn't it? 134 to leave 48.
Break of throw after this leg.
134.
We need 8-7 rather than 9-6 from a James Wade perspective. He knows it and produces one of his best visits of the match so far.
$140.
This is more like it, Chris.
Most definitely.
This is what two elite players can do. And elite players they most definitely are.
100.
And if you've just walked through the door and you started watching it, it's been like this all the way through. You've missed a cracker.
100.
Nothing in it.
127.
127. Treble 19 he needs. Can't get it. Needed that for the bullseye.
59.
So Rob Cross with the chance now for the break of throw, Chris.
127.
Yes. This could be a big moment. Still a chance. Treble 19. Nowhere near.
59. James requires 68.
Well, 68 apiece. 12 and tops for James Wade. No.
28.
A hurtful opportunity for Cross.
Requires 68.
It's a bizarre game, isn't it? Can take 178 and then can't take 68 out.
Tops. Nothing leave it on double top, does he?
No.
It's usually 16s or 18s.
Absolutely.
As you said a moment or two ago, who can second guess the mind of a darts player? Rob Cross getting the break he wants, and as a result of that, is just 2 legs away. James Wade having a bit of a nightmare. Rob Cross marginally better, and he's leading 9-6. Earlier on against James Wade in a tremendous quarter-final match, which Wade won 10-9. Glenn's just posted on Twitter saying, I'm not watching, but I know how the match is going from the 77 messages I've received. And I think one of them might just be suggesting that this has been, by the standards of what we've seen throughout the rest of the day, a pretty gruesome match here. Rob Cross leading 9-6 with an average of 84. And needing just 2 more legs to take a place in the final against the man who's been on fire all weekend, Gerwyn Price.
Yeah, he'll be rubbing his hands together.
If you were Gerwyn, would you be watching this?
Yeah, it's impossible not to. It basically in the practice room there's a huge big screen TV in there. You've got your own, your own practice area with your own TV screen on it. So he'll have it on in the background. He'll just be he's probably sat around chilling out, maybe grabbed a little light bit of food, and he'll just be just keeping not a close eye. He certainly won't be sat down watching it. He'll just be ticking over on the board and just keeping himself busy and switched on.
No doubt with a mind to do what he did in his semi-final against Peter Wright. He said beforehand, I need to get out of the blocks fast, and that's what he did. He was 3-1, 4-1 up before we really knew where we were with the match. He was away so quickly.
Well, whoever comes through this one plays to type.
99.
And so does Gerwyn Price. It's going to be a very, very quick final. But dart players...
100.
An extraordinarily talented type, and some can just go away, forget about this one, and then come back in and play a blinder of a final. And they're going to have to.
Yeah, you sense that's going to be the case.
Going to have to find, somewhere around
100,
15, 20 points on the averages to make it competitive.
Or the title trophy will be heading back to the Valleys. Look at
back
this.
to the green grass of home.
Yeah.
62.
Markham, where he hails from, Gerwyn Price.
140.
James Wade's had just 1 maximum. Rob Cross likewise, 53. And now Cross to go within 1 leg of a place in that final. 53 needed. Double 18. This is his favourite. He left it on double 20 a minute or 2 ago, but this is where he likes to be, and puts it away with a 17 dart leg and just 1 more needed.
$100.
3 on the spin for Cross.
No interviews with the players at the end of this because they've only got 20 minutes to get themselves ready for the final.
100.
Just got to get away and get this out of your head, haven't you, Chris?
Somehow.
Can it be done? Or do you go and put your mortgage on Gerwyn Price to win this?
You know what I'm like for predictions. I prior to that 170, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
Well, I know you've been saying Price all weekend. So
yes, yeah, I've stuck with Price all weekend.
83.
Just one more needed for Rob Cross. Not told you the averages for a while. James Waite 87, Rob Cross 83. 40% checkout rate for Rob Cross, 10 out of 25, 6 out of 22 for James Wade, which equates to a 27% checkout rate.
Not
42, James required 118.
Not a game either will remember it fondly.
Tops them for Wade for a 15-dart leg.
98.
Certainly there won't be one that won't be going in the collection.
No, when you're sort of chewing over the meat of the weekend and some of the fantastic games that we've had, I think we might be glossing over this one.
It can happen. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. That's just darts for you. Here's the key leg.
18 flag Rob to throw first.
Rob has the darts.
Well, this is for the match.
Yep.
I suppose if Wade were to win from here, you'd be talking about some sort of Houdini kind of impression.
140.
Remember the one against Merv King when he was 9-2 down, was it?
Something like that. Yeah. Merv wasn't massively impressed, was he?
The famous really came out, which always amuses me. Hope Merv's doing well.
He'll be watching.
75.
So. Might be able to get one last ride on that wonderful motorcycle of his.
81.
Fabulous sunny day, at least in the south of the UK today. I think right the way across the country.
Yeah, moves up around Norfolk, isn't it?
121.
East Anglia.
Now, interestingly there, that the tip of that third dart was just touching, therefore it was a score.
Absolutely, wherever the point
100
touches is the score.
165.
Might be 19s. 7 of them leave double 16. He doesn't like the lie. 48 left. Beautiful.
133.
Where's that been? Where's that been for the last hour?
In a roundabout way, he ended up hitting 133, didn't he?
Double 16.
Double 16.
Robbie requires 32.
This for a place in the final and a place against the Welsh hero Gerwyn Price. One dart required. Rob Cross gets there, goes across the line, and I think the two of them will be thinking, well, what on earth was that about? Rob Cross with an average of 85, James Wade an average of 87. Cross wins 11-7, but come the final in 20 minutes time, it's fair to say it has simply got to be better.
To produce the thrills of the first semi, Rob Cross, though, is the man who's booked his place in tonight's showpiece, beating James Wade 11-7 with an 85 average, and he now needs to just expunge all that from his brain because he will be back in about 20 minutes or so and have to lift himself against Gerwyn Price. Well, Alan and Chris back in the studio with me. Chris, you thoroughly enjoyed commentating on that, didn't you? I mean,
I earned my money, that's for sure.
you did, and it was entertaining to listen to. It wasn't so great to watch. But what did you make of James's comments before the match? That he said, sometimes it's just difficult to be interested in darts, because it looked like he wasn't too interested.
Yeah, and he also said he either feels he plays absolutely brilliant or really poorly, and there's no in between with James. Where before he had quite a solid B game, but he was always a great finisher under pressure, and he still took care of his own legs. You're in 15 darts or less, but that one there, there was just nothing in the tank. He just seemed completely disinterested, and sometimes you can try to do that to try and rid yourself of the emotion and to stop yourself trying too hard, because they were both guilty of doing that. I'm sure in the interview or when we get a chance to speak to Rob Cross, he will say that. But there's one thing about Rob Cross. He knows how to win ugly, and he doesn't mind. When he won the match play, with all due respect, not poorly, but he didn't play anywhere near his best throughout the whole tournament. And that might hold him in good stead. He has responded from playing poorly, but this one's a little bit different because, of course, in the World Match Play, it's one match a day or one match, and then you get a couple of days off. This one now, he's got to go back and try and work out what on earth went wrong during that game. But ultimately, into another final, he won't care, and the opportunity to win another TV title. So if they play to type, only one winner.
Yeah, you kind of need something like an Etch-a-Sketch, don't you? You made a bit of a mess of a picture and you think, I was terrible, and you just pull the thing across, wipe the slate clean and start again. But he doesn't have long to do that. How does he do it?
Very difficult, you would say, after that performance. I mean, they both kind of brought each other down. Maybe that the fact that Garen's playing so well, he might have to, well, he knows he's got to raise his game, but once he gets into the meat and gravy of the game, it might actually raise his at the same time, which he's obviously going to have to do. It's giving him a Grand Slam spot by getting to the final, so that's another bonus. Like Chris said, if it had been the final tomorrow night, it wouldn't have mattered. But he's got 20 minutes to get himself ready after that performance. I mean, does he go practice? Does he sit down? Does he look at himself in the mirror? What does he do? I mean, it's very difficult because you haven't got a long time. If it had been the first game, it would have been a bit different.
I mean, you two wouldn't have played in matches whereby both of you are playing terribly at the same time, obviously. I mean, I'm sure all
obviously not, no.
Absolutely scintillating. But what is it like when neither of you can really just raise your game for whatever reason?
Yeah, I had a few stinkers early on, and it's you do just get dragged down, and it's almost impossible. You seem to sort of wait for each other, don't you? You wait for someone to kick on, and you follow, and then on the other side of the coin, when someone's struggling, you go with them as well, because you know the game's there for the taking. You know, if you've only raised it by 10%, you'd win the match easy, and you just go around in a vicious circle, and it just becomes incredibly frustrating, and it's almost impossible to shake it off. I mean, they are both elite dart players, but some players will just find that or have that mentality just to make something happen, to make it work. But neither of them could produce that there.
Well, the 170 was good, wasn't it? But
yeah,
is there any element that when you're playing badly and you're thinking, hang on, this crowd's just seen a brilliant match just now, Garen Price coming through, and it was scintillating, and you're kind of feeling a little bit guilty at all that you know you're not producing for the audience?
Maybe so, but I mean, the most important thing is winning the game. Let's not forget that. It's about winning, not averages and 180s and big finishes. Yes, that's great for the crowd and shows that you've played well, but it's about winning the game. Obviously, he's got to raise that for the final. We know that because of the way Garen's been playing in the tournament and in the last round. But it is about winning. So if you can win ugly, like Chris says, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter what spot you're playing. It's about winning and beating your opponent.
They don't write averages on trophies, of course,
no,
or on the checks.
No, absolutely. 70 grand is going to somebody tonight. So Rob is through, but from James's point of view, he has been saying that the good thing about lockdown was he got to spend time with his family, little baby, a young child, Arthur. But he said, but on the downside, he said, I've spent time with my family and now I don't really want to be going abroad and playing darts. He said, but I have to make myself. Do you think there was an element of that in there tonight, that he has been having to drag himself here?
I'm not so sure. We're sort of getting this trend at the moment where you're hearing it from a lot of players, aren't we, that they're missing home and everything else. But
being in the bubble and
trust me,
we
we went through the worst eras of our sport where we were playing for absolute bobbins.
Yeah, it must be difficult to drag yourself away for 20, 30 grand a weekend, mustn't it? You know, that's the way players think nowadays, because there's so much money on offer. They almost don't think of that at the time. It's about other things as well. But
you know, and then we get the backlash to that. It goes, oh, because they go, oh, well, you know, what do you know? You're not on the road all the time. Well, no, we weren't. We were travelling all over America for a couple of $1,000s, mate. You know, we talk about travelling and being away from home. We weren't, you know, staying in the best hotels and being shipped around by, you know, or everything's put on for them. They don't know they're born nowadays. You know, I know the schedule's tough and everything else, but you knuckle down, you can literally secure the rest of your life in the next 10 years, and then you can retire. You know, there's not many other...
Then you can stay at home as long as you want.
There's not many other... Exactly, you can stay home for the rest of your life. There's not too many other working-class sports out there where you can, you know, buy a set of darts for 30 or 40 quid. Very much like the players like you're seeing with Nathan Aspinall and Rob Cross. You know, Rob Cross was an electrician. He's turned his life around. Millionaire. He lives in an absolutely beautiful home. And the spoils are there. Look at Phil Taylor and Michael Van Gerwen, you know, and you look down that money list. It's absolutely... I mean, there's guys that wouldn't lace my boots and earn more money in 2 years than I earned my whole career. And they moan.
Well, somebody's going to win £70,000 tonight, and it's either going to be Gerwyn Price or it's going to be Rob Cross. How do you see it going?
How can you not pick Gerwyn Price after that semi-final? I mean, Peter Wright must have felt like he was boxing an octopus. He was getting hit from all sorts of angles. It didn't matter what he did in the match. It didn't seem to matter. Something like 8 or 9 180s, 108 average, and he just didn't seem to be able to get close to him. He just kept denying him any opportunities, certainly when he threw first Gerwyn, and if he can carry that into that final, you can really only see one winner unless there's going to be a massive turnaround.
Well, there was that moment where he had that 180 to leave double 13, and you thought, well, this could be a turning point. And up steps Gerwyn Price, 20 tops. You know, didn't even blink. And that was the moment then I think he knew he'd won. He'd reached that point, a holder throw fine from Peter Wright, and he knew then the first opportunity with the darts gets the job done. That's a sign of a guy that's got a winning mentality. He's unbeaten in a fair few days now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going well, he's in good form, and certainly going to be the favourite for tonight. Well, we're going to look forward to that final when we come back between Gerwyn Price and Rob Cross. Rob having beaten Gerwyn 11-6 in last year's European Championship final in Dortmund. They are in Salzburg tonight, and one of them will lift the trophy for the first time. Of darts finals, which is live in Salzburg tonight. It is between Gerwyn Price and Rob Cross. Price, who we would imagine most people would be pumping for after his semi-final victory tonight against Rob Cross in a rather flatter match against James Wade. But you were just talking before the break there about the semi-final and about a couple of key moments in his match.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Peter Wright.
I think Alan touched on it when Gerwyn Price was doing a pre-match interview. It was, for him, it was imperative. He got an early start, and he's left tops here after 12, and sorry, double 2 after 12, and Peter Wright's made an absolute mess of this. In steps Gerwyn Price to pinch it 3-1, and then he responds in the very next leg. I think we're going to get to see that in a minute. You can see the reaction. Down to 255, he's got Peter Wright in all sorts of trouble early on. A 180, and then steps in, takes out the 75 for a 12-darter, and in a blink of an eye, we're looking at 2-2, full 1, and you can see by the reaction, he knows how important that is. And the reason why is because Peter Wright is so good. But if you've got that bit of a cushion, it takes the pressure off. You know, you can afford to, you know, to get broke back, but then you can be a little bit more aggressive on the breaker throw opportunities, which is exactly what he did. I mean, to roll out such a big winner against a guy who's averaging 108.1 and at 918 is 50% on his doubles. And that was just pure power
Peter Wright's
play.
the next session, Peter Wright actually won it 3-2 and probably played his best darts of the match, but he's still 6-4 behind. And he couldn't get anywhere near him after that, because then Gerwyn Price hit him with everything. He just could not break his throw. He was either having 9 darts or 12 darts at the board. And you know how hard it is to a 12 darter on a regular basis. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, if Michael Van Gerwen had performed like that, or Phil Taylor in the past, would have been applauding it. So we should applaud Gerwin for doing the same.
Yeah, you're right, though. We do struggle to hit 12 darters on a regular basis. I mean, I do. I don't know if you do. Do you? Or
depends if it's 3 or 1,
is it
to be
just
fair.
me? I mean, me and my little summer house.
I haven't even picked a dart up, I don't think, in 6 months. I don't even know what it feels like.
What about this shot? It's another absolute cracker from that match. There's so much we can show you.
Yeah, another key moment. You know, 9-6. He's just hit a 180 here, Peter Wright, to leave that double 13. And you're thinking, well, you know, 9-6. You know, you might be back in it. It's a breaker throw opportunity. Up steps Gerwin Price, 20. Doesn't think about anything else. His favourite double, tops. First one goes in, follows it in. You know, 10-5, one holder throw, game over.
You see how pumped up he is, and he really, really gives it something, understandably so, when he wins a point like that. How much of that is about instilling confidence into himself, and how much of it do you think is about trying to take something away from the opponent?
That's his style. That's the way he is. He's an aggressive player. We've seen it from the very start of when Gerwin Price started in the PDC. When he started playing on TV, he does it on a regular basis. Players are used to it. They kind of accept that it's going to be there, whether they like it or not is irrelevant, because that's his style. He's not doing anything against the rules, which is the important thing.
He's not, but does it bother the opponents, do you think?
I'm sure it does on occasion, especially when it's a moment like that. I mean, if, for instance, if that was the last leg or it was a close game and you do that, it's like the one in the solar plexus, you know, it really does hurt the opponent. And then when they give the roar, you know, it gets under your skin a little bit.
Rob Cross is the most laid-back player,
Michael
though, isn't
does
he?
it, you know what I mean? He does it. And we've seen when all this was going on with Gerwin Price, with the Gary Anderson thing, and, you know, he was subdued in a tournament. He was just a completely different player, wasn't he? He just didn't have that fire in his belly. He needs it. We spoke about before, he comes from such an aggressive sport, which is, you know, it carries so much passion. You know, and he's just brought that with him into the darting sphere. You know, I think he's box office. We don't want to sit up there watching 32 robots. As long as they stick within the rules. You know, there's players that have, in the past that have harped on about rules, but stood behind a guy going for a double, doing that to the crowd to get him to make some noise to put the guy off. So, you know, where do you go with it? There's, you know, if the players don't like it, they probably complain more. I think he's matured as a dart player, and I think he's found a good balance now. It doesn't, you know, he's stopped sort of directing it to the opponent, and it's just more for his own sake, really, just the release of adrenaline. It just keeps him pumped as well.
Well, let's have a look at the head-to-head record of these two players, Rob Cross against Gerwin Price.
I mean, 10 points in it. He's a throw behind. He's a throw behind every leg, effectively, if they stick to that darts. Gerwin Price, he's throwing, you know, 5 visits or less to average 101.6.
Yeah, if you took away the semi-finals, though, you would say that there wasn't a lot between them in the way the tournament's gone. But because we've just seen those 2 semi-finals, which were 2 broadest ends of the spectrum you'll probably ever see in 2 semi-finals, really.
Yeah, but even if you took that away, you would have Rob Cross around sort of mid-90s, which he's going to have to take out. He's going to have to play as well as he played before those matches and start taking out some monster shots.
It's all to do for Rob Cross tonight against Gerwin Price. He no doubt will have expunged that memory of his semi-final just now. It is time for the final. Our MC, John McDonald.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The final of the bwin World Series of Darts, brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation and coming to you from the Salzburg Arena, Austria! We are live on ITV Sport, and now for the thousands joining us live and the millions joining us around the world, it's time to meet the finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, from England, the European champion, the former World Match Play champion, and the former champion of the world voltage, Rob Cross! And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Wales, a World Cup and UK Open finalist, and a two-time back-to-back winner of the Grand Slam, the Iceman, Gerwyn Price!
There will be a new name engraved on the World Series of Darts Finals trophy tonight. Will it be Rob Cross of England or Gerwyn Price of Wales? Opening up in the commentary box for us, Alan Warren-Little and Stuart Pike.
Only the second time that they would have played in a TV knockout. The first one was the European Championship final last year when Rob Cross won his third big TV major, beating Gerwyn Price 11-6, of course, after the World Championship and at the World Match Play. He comes here as very much the underdog in this final. But it's a different time, it's a different game, and Rob Cross knows he has to play a lot better than he did in just getting the job done against James Wade in the semi-finals. But for Gerwyn Price, is it in his destiny to win another one? A fifth television final in the last 12 months. And he has looked superb today. Edged out Nathan Aspinall in a thriller. But that performance in the semi-finals up there with one of the best of the year against Peter Wright. First to 11 to win the World Series Finals.
Well, he was certainly full of confidence, Stuart. Controlled semi-final, exceptional standard. This is a different game. It's a final. Added pressure. Rob Cross has been there before. He's won 3 majors. I'm sure he'll be very much aware himself
60.
that it wasn't his best performance, but he won the game. That's the important thing. He's now in the final. He's got to play his opponent and certainly increase the level.
Celebrates his 30th birthday tomorrow. Will he be celebrating with another TV title? That will help. And it's another day, another dollar for Gerwyn Price, because he couldn't put a foot wrong. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? You can be absolutely brilliant, and then an hour or so later, you're starting with a blank piece of paper.
60.
Absolutely. It's all about these early legs for me as well, because if you do take some of the early leg, get that lead at the first break, you're almost going to automatic
82.
pilot. Outside chance here for Cross, though. He has hit a maximum in this leg.
57. Going with 154.
But still after 12, still needs 144.
$134.
Yeah, so despite the maximum, Price favourite to win it. Or is he? Or is he? This would be a belter to open up the final. And that will do wonders for confidence. And how much will that knock Gerwyn Price?
Well, incredible leg there from Rob Cross. A maximum, a bag of spanners in between, and then that incredible 144 finish.
58.
Great start from Cross.
Yeah, Michael van Gerwen has won the World Series finals 4 times. The only other winner 2 years ago was James Wade. So, but Gerwyn Price lost the UK Open final and the Players' Championship final, both on ITV Sports, of course, to Michael van Gerwen. He won the Grand Slam, lost the European. Can he win the World Series?
Price's turn to get the maximum. Cross broke throw with that first leg, with that magnificent finish.
59.
But the power scoring from the Welshman in this leg. Treble 7 to leave tops. Well, what an exceptional leg, Stuart. After that first leg disappointment, leaves himself double top after 9 darts.
Done a lot wrong. He'd left 20, hadn't he? He'd left double 10 to win the leg.
Going to require 40.
He needs tops to level it up. Now that double 10. So what a piece it is. It augurs well after the first 2 legs for sure.
2 breaks. But after that 11 darter there, Price should be feeling pretty good. Especially after starting that leg with a maximum.
140.
Price on a run of 16 consecutive wins, averaging 100 across those victories, of course, following on from his successes, his double success at the Autumn Series in Germany earlier this week. That's why he's the favourite.
93.
Well, there's no doubt, Stuart, that Cross is playing a lot better than the overall picture in that semi-final win against Wade.
59.
He kind of knew he had to. But responded well so far.
But the 144 just got Rob Cross into it, didn't he? Straight away. It's going to be a top plus finish for Price. What a start to this final. What a start to this match.
First hold of throw. We've had 3 maximums, a 144, a 128. We love it!
100.
Well, it's been a brilliant weekend, hasn't it? Especially being able to play a big TV event in front of the fans in Salzburg. A limit of around 1,500. They've enjoyed it. Different player, isn't he?
Oh, wonderful.
Different player to the semi-final.
Robbie require 143.
After that, looking good to level here, Stuart. Well, I went for the 25 there, hoping to hit the ball, but 25 would have left him down at treble 20 to leave tops. Pricey can fill this one up. That's okay. Gives him an outside chance.
57.
Tops for 2-2.
47.
Well, I think he said rubbish as he walked to the board there. But he's got another opportunity to make amends.
46. Robbie, you require 10.
Double 5. To level up this final in Salzburg.
It's going to throw first. Game.
What if it weighs on the mind of Gerwyn Price, you know, the fact that he has lost all the finals in the last year. Of course, he won the Grand Slam, losing in the UK Open to Van Gerwen, the Players' Championship also to Van Gerwen in Minehead, both by the same narrow margin of 11-9, and beaten by Cross in Dortmund in the European Championship. Won the Grand Slam, but he's hit 180. Looking for the 177.
If you're getting into that position on a regular basis, Stuart, though, and playing at this level, you know, you're going to get
96.
more and more opportunities to lift the trophy.
140.
Scoring at the highest level. Wonderful to see.
Averaging 111 go-in price.
134. Going Uruguay 42.
To retake the lead.
22.
Plenty in hand at the moment.
Yes, you don't want to be doing it too often, though. Not just the fact that you do give your opponent a lift, but it just installs a little bit of negativity in your game.
20.
So there we go. The favourite to take the title is ahead at the first break, but he's been pushed all the way. Rob Cross performing a lot better than he did in the semi-finals. It's first to 11 to be crowned the World Series champion, and Price leads 3-2 in Salzburg. With Price and to Rob Cross. Price averaging 108, 13 points more than his opponent, but the final is on throw, thanks in the main to a brilliant 144 finish in the opening leg from the former world champion Rob Cross. But we're getting the final we wanted.
Rob to throw first. Game on.
Well, I think from Cross's point of view, he'd be reasonably happy with the start, but he knows he's going to have to increase his level. He's managed to take
76.
two decent legs. Price just looks like a man on a mission.
134.
Well done. There's the throw of the former world champ with a little kick.
108.
But it's a little effective, isn't it? That's good timing. Not much movement on the throw of the Welshman. Yet again, pins the two treble 19s.
Well, we said Cross had to increase his average. It's just slightly under 100 at the moment.
51.
A little bit less after that visit. But he can't afford to go too far behind against Price. We saw what happened to Peter Wright, who then threw the kitchen sink at Price, but didn't quite get anywhere, to be honest.
This is superb. Absolutely superb.
174.
It's better than superb. What a visit.
Yes, that was fantastic from Rob Cross.
Just as his throw was about to be really seriously threatened. Got to finish it now to level it up.
Yeah, it's on the sick leg. Rob Cross.
That was absolutely exceptional.
Yes, fantastic darts there. 13 dart leg.
45.
So at the moment, it has to be said, Stuart, he's doing what we've asked him to do. Had to increase his level, and that's exactly what he's doing.
100.
That's a great shot as well. Just get a real idea of how the darts are going in. And to the player's eye view from Rob Cross. Same target, same result, and another.
140.
Looked like the angle was reduced there. I'm surprised he stayed on the 20s, but he gave it the shot.
80.
Price under a little bit of pressure, I think.
Well, his opponent stayed with him, and that's the important thing to remember. And now he's starting to play well. It just shows you how quickly the game can turn around the thought processes from both players.
In the space of half an hour, Alan.
59.
Big chance for Cross. Took the first leg with a 1-4-4. Since then, it hasn't been
93.
ahead.
Well, in the last leg that Cross won, he was second favourite for it.
100.
And all of a sudden, the
Robbie
174
requires
changes
68.
the complete complexion of the leg.
He's going for the party piece.
Yep.
I can assure you, he didn't go for the double 16.
Well, he went for the double 8. I think it might just have put him off a little there.
118.
Will he be punished?
That's awkward. Needs a treble. Yeah, it was nowhere near. So what a chance here for Rob Cross.
78. Robbie requires
Go
16.
ahead.
Taking his time.
James on the 7th leg, Rob Cross. 8th leg is Rob to throw first.
I'm not sure, if we're honest, that we expected Cross to play as well as this, because the evidence of the semi-finals suggested that he possibly didn't have this in his locker tonight, but he's proved everybody wrong. This is a really good performance. It's as if he's come out with a free pass, you know, and he's just going to have a go, and he's having a real go, and he's troubling Gerwyn Price.
But we saw with the semi-finals, Stuart, Peter Wright and Gerwyn Price brought the best out of each other. On the flip side, James Wade and Rob Cross almost brought the worst out of each other.
41.
It was certainly a grind, but as we said, it was the important thing to win the match, get to the final, and then you're facing a different challenge.
Well, the challenge for Price at the minute is to try and find some consistency. This would be a huge win if Rob Cross could go on and take this. It's simply in the context of where he's been over the last few months. Of course, eliminated from the Premier League and
87.
not much in between.
Yes, it'll give him a lot of confidence. Still a lot to do. Good cover shot there with a second. Oh, fantastic darts again from Cross.
Makes him favourite. The 3 legs on the spin. But there'll be some pressure.
139. Robbie requires 77.
Critical stage of the final, you feel. One dart for Cross. For 5-3.
James on the 8th leg, Rob Cross.
3 legs on the spin. And Gerwyn Price, who's lost 3 finals, 3 TV finals, I should say, in the last 12 months, all of a sudden, surprisingly, is up against it.
When he won his World Championship, Stuart, and we all know how good that was, he showed so much composure, apart from the obvious quality. And just in that visit there for the tops, he took his time.
100.
That's really been the key feature for Cross in this final so far.
And he's played superbly, Rob Cross. Gerwyn Price is just cross with the way he's playing.
Should stay down there.
60.
Well, there was an opportunity there, but both players just not scoring at the high level. Just a dip in form for both players. So it's important to drag what you can and take the leg. One big score can change it.
As we've seen already in the final.
$57.
Well, he needed that.
134.
After losing 3 consecutive legs, he's given himself a chance to get back within 1.
Cross's level just dipped a little bit, hasn't it? Well, to be fair, both players have.
Well, he's like double 10 in this final, hasn't he? It's kind to him again. It's 5-4. Now a really important leg just before the second break. Can Price level, or can Cross stay too clear? That's real bit of raw emotion from the Welshman.
Oh, 96.
Yes, he's really trying to G himself up. He knows he's underperformed in terms of what he did in the semi-final and this final up to now.
Oh, 95.
Oh, that's a touch unlucky. Deflection taking it out of the treble 20 into the treble 5. So here comes Cross again.
140.
Got himself back into the leg. What's Price got left here?
Well, he's going to have to go back upstairs for the 20s.
59.
Well, after the 177, he'll be disappointed where he is 6 darts later.
Great second dart. Good thinking. Then there you go. And that's why.
Going you 170.
Well, this would really see the roar that would erase the roof, Stuart.
Robbie require 40.
It's an intriguing final. It's certainly not going with the form book. And Rob Cross is playing really, really well. He took out Gerwyn Price in the European Championship final last year in Dortmund, and he's in control of the World Series final in Salzburg.
Price and Rob Cross in our final. Rob has the edge 6-4, and we have a change in the commentary box now after the rather turgid semi-final they talked us through earlier. I think they should relish the climax to this final. They deserve it. So do we, frankly. Seeing us through to the end, Chris Mason and John Rawling.
Seems like we're on a different planet, doesn't it? I mean,
So does Rob Cross.
What price would you have got on this? Rob Cross, OK, he managed to get the victory in that semi-final against Wadey, but to think that he was going to come out and play like this and take the initiative against Gerwyn Price, it was almost unthinkable.
Well, Gerwyn Price is getting some of his own medicine, but Peter Wright was throwing everything at him and he couldn't close the gap. And that's what's happened in this one. Gerwyn Price averaging in excess of 101. Rob Cross, well, it's a night and day performance, isn't it? Averaging over 96, 2 180s, 9 140s, a 144 and 60% on his doubles.
I think with the 2020 vision of hindsight, the way he came out with that 144 checkout in the very first leg to break the Gerwyn Price throw, you know, was such a statement after what had gone before. And it was as though getting that, you could see through the reaction, he was just into a totally different mindset.
Yep, Gerwyn Price in danger here of going 7-4 behind.
96.
He gave the board an old-fashioned look. He's wondering what's going on. He would have watched that performance from Rob Cross, and there's absolutely no way he wouldn't have thought he was going to do a job on Cross.
Well, Cross has had that 144 in the first leg. Can he get it now in leg number 11? Not
doesn't really matter.
Gerwyn
Price, 12 darts thrown and only 238 scored.
56.
Well, we love the game. It's the unpredictability, isn't it? That's the great thing about darts. You can't ever hang a title, a medal around somebody's neck until the game is actually played, because you never know.
You can play like a drain in one game, and well, 20 minutes later you can play like a dreamboat. That's just the nature of this sport.
Well, Rob Cross is going to come back after this visit from Gerwyn Price.
100.
He's coming back now
32.
and is looking for double 16.
7-4.
And only one dart required. His doubles, he's had 7 out of 11. That is good. Checkout percentage in excess of 60%. And any player alive would be happy of that. There you are, 7 out of 11. Sorry about the mental arithmetic letting me down, but it's 64%. I knew it was more than 60. And I knew that because it was 6 out of 10 before, which is 60. So, you know.
Well, by my quick calculations,
you're commentating
John,
with Einstein here.
It's 63.64%, not to be pedantic.
Oh.
140.
Nice one. Cross in a very strong position now. He only needs another 4 legs, and he's home and hosed. Gerwin's got to hit the afterburners. He's got to really get those big scoring boots on again.
150.
Not showing quite the same intensity and brilliance that he did against Peter Wright. And I think many people thought that Wright against Price match, that was kind of the final before the final.
Absolutely.
And maybe Gerwin was guilty himself of even thinking that a little.
Has to start breaking the Rob Cross throw, and he's got an opportunity here.
164, that's the perfect start. 18s now. No, he needed the treble, but he's still got a good chance because Rob Cross has got to put this one away, you sense.
Well, Gerwin Price, when he's been given a shot, he's taken it. I mean, he's 50% on his doubles, 4 out of 8.
Oh, no.
This would hurt. This would really hurt.
His doubles have been brilliant.
Yes.
One more for 8-4. Forensic precision. Absolutely perfect dart.
96.
15 dart holder throw. While Gerwin Price was sat at 68, threatening to break.
96.
Price is almost reaching the point of no return now. He can open his shoulders and have a real go at this.
Yeah, he's got to just blitz him with huge numbers, and not just on his own throw. He's got to really get after that throw of Cross because he needs the breaks.
121.
Marginally outscoring Cross, but not by a deal. But the difference in the doubles
95
has been important. 8 out of 12 now, which let's get this one accurate, Chris. 66.67, or actually 66.66 recurring.
Correct. There you go. Now you're catching on now, John. See all that
85.
Public score or whatever it is you went.
No. East End of Sheffield, me.
Yeah, the Lord.
96.
Well, Price on throw, 12 darts down to 74.
How much pressure is going to be on this 74?
Could be a lot. It is a lot.
139.
Huge, great setup.
May only get 1 dart at a double, and he will. And that double is tops. Friend or foe? Massive.
It's his favourite double, that one, Chris, and that was such an important holder throw.
Huge, absolutely.
Cross had gone
huge.
9. It would have been just about curtains, you sense, for this pugnacious Welshman.
96.
Rob Cross, of all the players out there, you know, he does know how to win ugly. Me and Alan were discussing it before the off, and
well, he beats a man who's made a career almost at times of winning ugly. He beat Wadey in the semi-final, and that was a match which, you know, you'd choose to forget rather than to remember. But he scrapped his way through.
Yeah, sure did.
Really has got a terrific chance of picking up another major trophy here after a year which in many ways he would It's been a bit of a mess for Rob Cross, and he'd love to get back to winning ways. Got himself fitter. One or two lifestyle changes, and I think maybe that is reaping dividends. But Price getting his nose ahead here. Big moment for Price. He's got 6 darts from here on 143. Well, 79. Cross goes and get 180. 79 is going to look like 179.
Absolutely.
140. Going Uruguay 79.
Good dart, double 11. Beautifully done. That's more like the Price we've been seeing through this weekend.
14 dart break of throw. Yeah, maybe doing Cross a bit of a disservice when he won the World Match Play. I mean, he averaged just around about 95 for the week, but he does have a great ability to just grind and be unaffected by the actual performance and just care more about winning. So I suppose that is a great ability.
Price on throw here has the opportunity to narrow the gap to a single leg.
And get off stage after this leg, John, and just regroup and come out all guns blazing.
Be our final interlude, the final pause in play before the winner of the 2020 bwin World Series of Darts is determined. A new name on the trophy. James Wade once, apart from that, it's always been Michael van Gerwen, a new name this year.
Well, the opening session was won by Gerwyn Price, 3-2. Second mini session was won 4-2 by Rob Cross. Gerwyn Price shares an opportunity to, in this third and final mini session, 3-2. And as you said, close the gap. And it's game on, isn't it?
Absolutely. The momentum will be with Gerwyn. 76 now.
76.
This to go just one behind. 16 he wants.
That 20 may be awkward. That's why he went for the treble 16.
36.
The dart at the treble 20 was, well, you can see it then from that side shot, was really sat up.
Partially blocking it, maybe.
Yeah.
So Cross then.
Well, you're always fearful you're going to clip the flight on the way in. Treble 18 for double 12. Ooh, long way off. So tops for Gerwyn.
And this is his favourite double for 8-7 and a 16 darter. He gets it. It is game on. And look at that. Come on, he says. They can still do it. It's 8-7. Cross leading the former world champion, but Price, the man in form, is grinding back.
It's fun. This is more like it than Rob's semi-final, isn't it? I mean, we thought that Gerwyn Price would certainly be the favourite for this final, bearing in mind his performance in the semi, but it didn't necessarily start off like that, did it?
No, it just shows you how unpredictable this game is. It really is. You can come up with any kind of stats or what you've just seen, but what comes up next in the next game, you just can't pick it. I mean, it started with that 1-4-4 in the first leg. You know, neither player was really scoring that heavily. Price had left himself double 10. And noticeably, Rob had been taking his time when he's on the double, takes out that 1-4-4, and that really set him up for the early part of the match. And, you know, he looked really good and composed, obviously scoring better, averaging better. And he pushed Price all the way. And Price really did well there to get back that last break there at 8-7 down.
Yeah, really good start by Rob. But did you feel a little bit embarrassed, given that all our preview was about how Price was going to run away with this?
No, that was just you, Jackie. That was just you.
All of us sitting here going,
well, you can only go
yes.
on. You can only go on what you've seen, and that's what everybody at home watching would have probably been pretty similar, I would think, because of the way the two semis went. But as we always know, you can't predict what's going to happen in the next game.
And also, we were basing it on the fact that he was so pumped up and he was playing so well. But of course, adrenaline levels can then come down afterwards, can't they? And he would then have to pick himself up. Whereas Rob was down there and he just maybe just needed to gently lift himself.
Yeah, and we spoke about the time difference between the games. Obviously, Gerwin was in the first semi-final, so he's had a longer wait. Rob obviously knew he didn't play that well, only had a 20-minute interval. So he's probably just sat down, got straight back on the practice board and all of a sudden been back on stage again.
Yeah, and that was better from Gerwin just before the break. He was clearly very pumped up and that will have helped him now. So how do you see the rest of this final going?
Well, he'll be pumped up, as we saw with that last visit, because he's got himself back in the game, because up till then, Rob Cross was in command. There was a leg earlier, I think he could have gone 9-6 up, or 9-5 up even. It was, I think he double top with that last dart and Cross had a chance. And that was the start of that mini session there at the end that Gerwin got back into the game. So all to play for. Next leg crucial for me. If Gerwin wins it, you would think he's going to go out to win it. But how can we predict after what we said in the 2 semi-finals?
I don't think we should bother, should we, with our predictions anymore? I'm not going to ask you, Freddie, anymore. But what do you think Rob's mindset will be going into that break?
Well, he'll be pretty happy, I would think. I think he'll be thinking, well, OK, I've let it slip a little bit, but I'm still ahead. You've got to look at what's on the board and not what could have happened. If he starts thinking that, he'll get some negative thoughts in his head, and you don't want that at this stage of the final. But he's still 8-7 ahead. He's playing a lot better. He's looking a bit more composed. He's scoring better. And his finishing has been pretty good.
Well, some might say the momentum is with Gerwin. Do you go along with that?
Well, there's been a break. That's the problem. If they'd have carried on, I would agree with you. But because there's a break, it sometimes changes the thought process of both players. You know, Gerwin's obviously happy he's got back in the game, but there's been a break, so then you come back out and you've got to almost start again. Where Rob is, you know, he's 8-7 up. It could have been more, but he's still ahead.
And the fact that these two were in the European Championship final last year and Rob came through that one, do you think that has any bearing whatsoever on this?
Not for the players, no. They're playing for a title. They're trying to beat their opponent and they know it's at a good level. It's a major event. They both want to win it. Rob's obviously got to the final, so he's guaranteed to be in the Grand Slam, which is an extra bonus for him. But they want the trophy. That's the thing nowadays. Prize money's great, but they want to hold that trophy and be the man at the end of the week.
Yeah. They'll take home, of course, £70,000 as well. Back to John and Chris.
If you like tension in your sports, the next few minutes is going to be absolutely jam-packed with that particular quality. Oh, unlucky with that last dart, but 120, Rob Cross seeing that third one on the floor when it looked as though it was destined for another maximum. Gerwin Price still needing a break.
59.
Cross a break to the good. Could be very special, this, Chris.
Yeah, well, at times it's sort of fizzed and popped early, didn't it? But it's
41.
Exploded now, and we're still none the wiser who's going to win. Before the off, absolutely, I thought it was Gerwin Price's to lose, but all credit to Rob Cross. He regrouped very quickly, didn't he, in that interval, as you said. He must have just gone out the back, just continued, got his darts out, and thought, right, let's go and give it a go. Nothing to lose. No pressure,
81.
no expectation.
Price winning 3 on the spin, potentially 6 legs remaining, including this one.
Yeah, he lost the opening 2 legs of that session to Rob Cross in 16 and 15 darts with that 110 finished by Rob Cross, but then reeled off 3 legs in 15, 14 and 16. 45 darts for 1,503 points.
Price with slightly the higher average. Cross the better on the checkouts, and you can see exactly what Price made of that particular visit. He was disgusted.
Yeah.
Advantage Cross.
Did have a bit of an opportunity there.
100.
219. Will he get another visit after this?
Well,
Rob Cross.
Nerves are going to start to play their part in this game as they get closer to the winning line.
Absolutely. You can sense it already. Treble 20 is looking for the ton checkout. He gets it, now tops, and as ever steps back and takes that moment to compose himself. Trademark technique. That should be a decent marker, and is. And Cross, that was a really important leg, the one to come back from the break, and it re-establishes that 2-leg cushion.
Whereas before everything was coming in 5 visits or less, John. He had 5 visits in that and was nowhere near a double. He's just not playing at the level he was against Peter Wright. Unfortunately for Rob Cross, he's certainly not playing at the level he played against James Wade.
83.
The tides have turned.
A different Rob Cross. Gerwin, form man, 2 wins in the autumn series and then triumphant throughout the weekend.
58.
In Salzburg, in these World Series finals, he was the man coming into this final, but it's not quite working out that way as yet.
86.
Advantage in this leg, though.
Did you check the prices for this one before the off?
I didn't, but Price would have been a big
65.
favourite. He'd have been a hot favourite. I would have thought he would have been somewhere in the region of 2 to 1 on, if not shorter.
42.
I'm sure somebody somewhere will tweet us that particular piece of information.
Maybe you, John. I avoid that horrendous place. Big pressure from Rob Cross. Got himself right back in this leg. It's a great start for 150. Needed the treble 18 for double 18.
So 157, this can be done. Price poised on 56, but a little sniff for Cross. Nothing to lose.
No. Starts with the treble 19.
97.
Well, this is a must take.
Absolutely.
Got to get this.
Cannot afford to give Cross a go at 60 and break throw and lead 10-7.
Double 10. And the Welshman nails it, and you can see what he thinks. You can hear what he thinks. Nearly blew a gasket.
Gerwin has won 4 of the last 5 legs, yet still trails
99.
by that one break of throw.
I think it's fair to say there'll be a fair amount of adrenaline pumping through the veins. He's got to calm down. That first one over-pitched, second one dragged low. And it's all very well going for the massive celebration like that, but it doesn't necessarily help thereon.
It's just becoming a little aggravated.
He knows how well he's been throwing. That's the frustration.
Yeah.
This is more like it. That's it. But there's the big roar again. I think everybody in the auditorium can hear that.
And outside. The streets of Salzburg would have heard that.
97.
So the break of opportunity is here now, John.
Open the window if you're watching at home. The noise in the background might be Gerwin Price that you can hear all the way from Austria.
Down to 170 on the Rob Cross throw. Can he get that break of throw he so desperately needs?
Well, that was an important dart.
Going to 170.
And Price can't get the 170. That's a lovely cover shot, though.
96.
Needed
not
another.
what he wanted.
111.
Cross then to go within a leg of the title. 1-1-1.
This would be typically Rob Cross, wouldn't it?
Treble 20 is looking at.
Oh, right. Here we go then, John.
59.
Biggest moment of the match so far.
And it'll be the biggest roar of the match if this goes in. Great dart. Double 10. Yes, there it is. Oh, Mr. Quiet.
Subdued.
19th leg, it's going to throw first.
Suspect he might be quite a decent arm wrestler, Gerwin. I know.
I'll pass. I've got a sore elbow.
I'm not going to go and try that one out. So it's advantage Price again now on the throw.
100.
Cross measured, quiet. Price is just emotionally committed to every single release of the dart. Trying to stay cool. but he's got his nose ahead. Wanted more than that. Loving this final now, Chris. Said before we began in this final session, the next few minutes could be just gripped by drama, by tension, and it's producing it in spades.
140.
Cross was priced at 9-4, and then he drifted as far as 4-1 in running.
Goodness.
When Pricey was 2-1 and 3-1 up, thanks to my pal Michael Leckie for sending me that info.
43.
Well, off 161, 43 is not what Pricey was wanting.
Winning line-itis.
Ton 40 would be handy. Yes, he gets it. Now then, Chris.
18 for tops. Huge moments.
And it lets him down. That's his favourite double, been serving him well. He can't believe he's dragged it low.
I think someone whistled at the exact time he was about to throw.
Oh dear.
Just thanking them for that one.
Oh dear, oh dear. He's not happy. 86 for Rob Cross.
He won't be happy if he hits 18 and ball.
Here we go.
This would seriously hurt.
Massive moment in the match in our weekend of darting entertainment. Rob Cross needed the ball and can't find it. Nowhere near.
Live closer.
20.
So 2 10s and 2 5s. This can get messy. It's a great marker. Can he use it?
Words are almost superfluous.
Absolute passion.
And now Rob Cross knows he's got to win this leg, or the title is heading for Gerwyn Price.
But he doesn't have to train that right arm when he goes to the gyms. All them fist pumps are just filling that bicep with blood. Ample bicep it is too.
Do you think he fancies his chances of winning now?
Well, let's have a 9-darter. That's the way to win it.
I think there'd be a bit of come-on-ing going on if you did that. 3-21, 3 perfect darts. Oh, so much for that.
85.
Important last one. Yeah, he knows that puts at least well, forcing Rob Cross to at least find a 2 treble visit, which he's done.
34.
It's in his hands. Could be 2 visits away from picking up another TV title.
Yeah, but he's
more
not.
Silverware.
He's not on a finish.
No.
So Cross 140 would aid the cause. Coming down. Oh, beautiful.
Only consolation he has, John, if he doesn't get it done here, he will have the darts in the 21st and final leg, but 16 leaves tops.
136.
Lovely setup.
Well, it would certainly make him Price say aye, aye, aye.
Now, what about this?
18 for double 18. Oh, that goes in the treble 18. It's 111, but it's certainly not game shot.
This is the one that Cross needs. Double 18.
No,
he's pulled it low. His favourite double let him down.
40.
And now Price for the match. There it is. He wins the title. 11-9. The celebrations are the trademark style of Gerwyn Price. And I loved that match, Chris. That was a terrific game of darts. We may have had higher averages, but that was drama, and fair play to Rob Cross after really not playing at all well in the semi-final. To come and contribute to a match like that was special.
Well, he looked the winner pretty much from our second mini session onwards. There only looked one winner. But as you said, a big shout out to Rob Cross for mustering up Well, I don't know where he got that from, that performance, because we feared he was going to get, well, a bit of a shellacking in that final.
We're going to have the presentation of the trophy any moment now, and we can indeed go up onto the stage now and get the presentation being conducted here by John McDonald.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. An amazing final, and now it's time for our presentation. Firstly, our runner-up, receiving £30,000 and his trophy, and it goes to Voltage Rob Cross. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for as we crown our winner, receiving the magnificent trophy, £70,000, and for the very first time in his career, we crown him the World Series of Darts Finals champion, and it goes to the Iceman, Godwin Price!
Well, there he is. Proud man. There's a few pantomime boos, but he's given us some tremendous entertainment this weekend, and I think it's probably a pretty powerful argument that right now in the game of darts, the man who is currently #1 has come out and won the title. They've produced a terrific match between them. He won 7 of the last 8 legs.
Absolutely,
wonderful.
Under the most pressure from Rob Cross. Well, he won back-to-back Autumn Series Pro Tour events, has come into this one, well, and just come through some absolutely epic battles.
Lovely to see
him.
Lovely to see the crowd back here as well. Okay, it's not been the crowd we would perhaps normally expected. It has to be socially distanced, but they have been wonderfully entertained this weekend, and Gerwyn Price eventually emerging as very proud and a very worthy champion indeed. Well played, sir.
Get there actually, and I'm not sure you heard me there. But well played, Gerwyn Price, and also well played Rob Cross for getting there in the first place after his semi-final earlier. He did manage to lift himself in the end. We wondered if he could, but it wasn't to be the 30th birthday present to himself that he ideally wanted. He's 30 grand better off. Let's hear now from both the winner and the runner-up with Dan Dawson.
Rob, I know it's disappointing to lose the final, but the way you upped your levels of performance in the semis and came very close there, that's something to be proud of, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I always got the game in the locker. I didn't feel sort of great when I played James, I suppose, and he never really got going. But at the same time, look, it's a step in the right direction. I lost to an informed guy tonight, and he's been playing the darts of his life. Unfortunately for me, I can't hit a... Yeah, I can't, I can't do it. But no, I never really bottled it. Do you know, it was a weird game, and fair play to Gezi for winning. It hurts, it does.
It was a strange game. You were so up and down. There was you're taking out lots of combination finishes, but then missing big numbers. It's a strange one throughout that match.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, yeah, with the lead what I did have, I don't know whether maybe 8-5 or something, and I just got a little bit complacent. But look, it's a step in the right direction to where I have been. I've showed me minerals this weekend. I've got where I got, and we move on to greater and bigger things, really.
This has been a tough year for you on the dartboard, but to be back in a major TV final, your first since the European Championship, when you played Gerwyn there and beat him, that is a big step forward and something you can build on for the rest of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Do you know, the darts are perfect for me, and everything's perfect. It's just about sort of, I suppose, Rob believing, and yeah, I'm bitterly disappointed, but at the same time, come Monday tomorrow, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I didn't quite get what I wanted, but at the same time, I go back on the practice board, I work harder, and we come back stronger.
And this weekend does restore some of that belief?
I've always got it, Dan. I've always got it. No fact.
Well, look, well played this weekend. It's a superb run. £30,000 richer as well.
Mrs. won't be happy. Cheers, Dan.
Well played.
Hey, you're my idol. It's only why you won.
Geraint, congratulations. You had to work very, very hard for that. What was the emotions at the end? Because first it looked like relief more than anything.
Yeah, I was. I beat myself up all the way through the game. I knew after the first break should have been at least 4-1 up, and I knew Rob was going to come out firing no matter how well he played or how bad he played in the semi-final. I knew everyone I've played, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they always bring their A game against me, and I knew Rob was going to come out firing. And I think the first leg I won 4-4, and I knew it was going to be a tough game. But yeah, from 8-4 down, I'm just proud of myself to just dig deep once again, like I have, a few games over the last couple of weeks. And I never give up anymore, and I always believe that as long as there's one leg to go, I can still win, and I stuck in there till the end.
It was an incredible fight back. In terms of the level of performance, not as brilliant as it had been for the weekend. A bit fatigue play a factor there?
No, I think because I knew that Rob weren't playing very well in the semis, and then he came out firing against me and sort of beating myself up, and I shouldn't be like that. I should just expect people to play well every single game, and when he was, I was sort of like, oh, here we go, just my luck again, and I shouldn't think like that. But towards the end, I stuck in and I dug deep and I come through. But yeah, halfway through that game, I'm beating myself up.
8-4 down. At what point in that comeback did you think, I've got this, or did you have to get in front?
No, 8-7, and I knew I had to put him under pressure then after that break. But I was hitting rubbish, and he goes 9-7 up, and I thought I've just got to win every single leg now, and I did from that point.
Bit of revenge for Rob winning the European Championship last year, but it's not the first final you've played in. You've had a few. Do you anticipate playing Rob in many finals to come in big events like this?
I don't care if I play Rob or anyone. As long as I get there, then that's all that matters. And I'm playing well, I'm practicing well, and I'm giving 100% every single time. Like I said, I never give up anymore, and whoever's going to beat me is going to have to play really, really well and take their chances, because if not, then I will.
3 tournaments, 1 in a row, £90,000 in prize money over the last 6 days.
94, 250.
And you said the other day after you won on the Pro Tour, you genuinely believe right now that you are the best player in the world.
No, I wouldn't say I'm the best player in the world now, but I believe that my A game is better than anybody else's, and that's all that matters. I'm confident with my own game. I was winding to Al Gurney up in a week, said give me 3 years and nobody will beat me, but now I seem to believe her.
So you reckon world number 1, world champion, that's all coming. This is just a stepping stone to it.
Yeah, I mean every game as it comes, but I'm looking forward now to the European next week, and then look forward to the Grand Prix after that. And yeah, obviously I've got one eye on the Worlds, and if I win that, I might even take a year out.
Well, look, congratulations, World Series champion. Phenomenal stuff.
Oh, Geraint Price saying he might take a year out. Was he joking there? Do you think if he wins the Worlds?
Oh, if he won the Worlds, yeah, he could. He could afford to literally just sit back, pick and choose what he does and where he goes. I mean, depending on, in normal circumstances, of course, the exhibition circuit is very, very lucrative. Obviously, not so much this year. Poor old Peter Wright, it's cost him an absolute chunk because of course, the pandemic and all the pubs being shut and the clubs and the big events that they would normally take part in. But, yeah, I suppose he'd be in a financial position where if he wanted to, he'd still be ranked highly. I don't think Barry Hearn and Matt Poulter would be particularly pleased. I'm sure there's something in the contract somewhere saying that he couldn't do that.
Players are very emotional after a final, so what they say, it's not always what they mean, but he probably one of those aspects that he might think about. But it's very unlikely, but you never know.
What do you make of the nerve that he showed tonight in that final?
Yeah, well, you look at the semi-final and the final. To be a champion, you have to show a lot of different attributes. We saw what he did in the semi-final, how good he was when he got his opponent on the ropes. He didn't let him off. But in the final, we saw a different side of that. He had to drag so much out of that game because he was a long way behind. He wasn't playing at the same level. He was 8-4 down at one point. It looked all and sundry like Rob Cross was going to win. But he dragged it out of himself. And that's what makes champions.
Yeah. Let's have a little look back now, Chris, at the very first leg of that match, because we went into it thinking he hadn't played very well in the semi-final. He's going to have to lift himself.
We feared it was going to be a bit of a washout because there was the difference with Rob Cross finding this kind of performance after that poor display in the semi-final against James Wade. But he sort of set his stall out early. Yeah, in fact, he lost that mini session 3-2 and then responded really well, winning the next session 4-2 and ultimately led 8-4 before Gerwyn Price. He won 7 of the last 8 legs against a guy who was in good form and fairly confident. He looked the most likely to win that final. Yeah, it was a bizarre final because we just didn't see that display coming from Rob Cross.
Chris, you had a little bit of a problem with your microphone. We're going to sort that out in the break. And when we come back, we're going to further review the final that we've just seen with Gerwyn Price beating Rob Cross in the World Series of Darts finals. We'll be back in a moment. Gerwyn Price has won the World Series of Darts finals title for the first time. I think he's enjoying being back in front of a crowd. He said that he was looking forward to it. He said, even if they boo me, I still want to see a crowd. And I think it means just that little bit more, doesn't it, when you've got the fans out there. And I think they'd have enjoyed it too, because he's such an entertaining player to watch, isn't he? I mean, you keep saying that he's box office. He's very much enjoyable.
Well, he absolutely is, and that's why the crowd respond to him when he gives a little bit of aggression. They give him a little back. It's not always... I don't agree with it when it's while he's throwing, but there's no problem with it doing between throws or anything like that. But yeah, like I say, he is box office because he's an aggressive player. He's obviously playing at a high level. He can beat all the top players, and now he's a major champion anyway, and he's one another one to put on his shelf.
Yeah, double Grand Slam winner. He can't just win in Wolverhampton. He can win in Salzburg as well, which is...
I mean, he is Marmite, isn't he? He's box office, but he is Marmite. It divides... You know, he is divisive. Some, you know, half the people love him and half the people give him absolute abuse.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. Either they don't understand it or they think... You know, darts was very old school and, you know, gentlemanly and and of course Gary Anderson was so popular and it all sort of stemmed from that. So all the people that sort of loved Gary hated Gerwyn Price and and just rolled on. It's easier to abuse someone than appreciate them, isn't it? I suppose I don't know. It's just
fans are fickle, aren't they?
We have a weird
in any sport, and
we have a strange mentality nowadays, don't we? It's and it's all social media.
But it stemmed from that night in Wolverhampton when he gave it back to the crowd and he got some stick, and then actually since then it's kind of like, I don't actually like it that much, I'm not that guy, and maybe fans, when they've maybe had a few, don't necessarily appreciate that.
No, exactly, and he understands that. He's fully aware of, that pantomime villain role that he plays, and he doesn't mind that, but just allow him to work. And putting him off, it's a bit similar, you're trying to do this job and someone running in at you, screaming at you while you're trying to address the viewers. It would be awkward, and it's no different for him. And like he says, he doesn't mind the fact if they want to boo him in between throws, but not when he's just throwing a dart and an important double, and he potentially could then lose a match or lose a title because of that. That's always going to leave a bad taste in my mouth, because often the best players are not going to win.
Yeah, that was an odd situation. A couple of times in this tournament when it was quieter than usual because of the social distancing, and then suddenly he heard something, but he managed to come through it. And he showed some bottle, didn't he? I mean, that 1-4-4 from Rob to open up with might have made him think, oh, hello, but he came straight back.
Yeah, well, we were looking for a response very quickly, weren't we, after what we talked about, what he'd done in the semi-final and dropped himself back into the game against Nathan Aspinall in the round before. Once he hit that one, we thought, OK, he's back to that same level and he's going to march on, but it didn't quite turn out like that, did it?
Yeah, and 8-5 down at one point as well. A real comeback for him.
8-4, 7 out of the last 8 legs in that match, which again, I think Alan summed it up perfectly. It just showed a slightly different side to his makeup, that if he has to grab, and we know he's a great leader and he's a great front runner, and when he's got the tail between the legs and he starts it in them big scores and he's roaring, he gets on a roll and he does get momentum. But he didn't have none of that in that match, and he was made to battle from the very start to the very end. And all credit to Rob Cross, because it's not that we write him off as because we don't think he's a great dart player. He just that form was worrying going into a type of match like that, especially the form Price he was in, but they served up a fitting final for what's been a really good tournament. Once it got going and the seeds came in, it caught fire.
Yeah, it was a great comeback, wasn't it?
Great time for Rob Cross, it's got to be said. Not just in the final, but the way he performed in that final there. And he'll go away, obviously he'll be, I think he said on social media already, a little bit of disappointment there when you're leading by so many legs in a final, but he'll come away from that and feel pretty good about himself because he's not had a great time. He knows that. But this will do him a world of good.
Yeah, it will. And just looking back at the final, I mean, there was that comeback from Gerwyn Price, and then it got really fun towards the end, didn't it?
Yeah, once you get to this stage of a match, you never quite know. And then there was that moment there where he was, you know, tops off of 1-1-8 to win it in style as well. And he sort of sarcastically says, "Yeah, thanks very much. You might have just cost me 40 grand. Well done." Because you know, this moment here, he loses here, then Rob Cross has to throw in the next leg to win it.
It also puts pressure on Cross as well because of what's happened. People don't understand that. They think it's just on the player that's just thrown, but...
As a player, you feel bad.
Yeah, it stopped him in his tracks a little bit. Yeah, the bull shot, you know, he was quite a bit off it in the end. But the level he was playing at, you expected him to maybe have a shot at the double there because it just shows you on these pressure points in matches. This
third dart was outstanding.
This won him the title, I think, in my view, because that was that leg where it had a bit of stick from the crowd. He missed the double, Cross missed, and then he got it with the last dart. Because if he'd crossed another chance, I think he would have taken it.
And any movement in the body on that shot, you know, you've got to be completely relaxed and stay completely smooth. There can be no flaw upon release when there's that sort of fine margin of adjustment, and using that type of marker, because that's what it was, more of a guide than a marker. It was just, and you can tell by the reaction. You know, he doesn't do that. You know, he gets a bit of stick, he does it all the time, but when it's key moments, it's just got that extra decibel to it.
And Rob is such a chilled out kind of bloke, isn't he? Chilled out kind of player. I mean, he plays the way he speaks, really, doesn't he? He's very laid back. But do you think in that moment, the way that Gerwyn Price pumps himself up, do you think it affects him, or do you think he's the sort of player that would be least affected by it?
Yeah, it's water off a duck's back. There's nothing that really bothers Rob Cross. He plays in a chilled manner. You'll see sometimes that it's just the way he does it. You know, I'm not sure if he has had any kind of sports psychology or whatever, or that type of coaching, because he has a little smile to himself at pressure moments. It's quite strange.
It doesn't matter what's happened when he's thrown or just after. It's that moment when you stand on the hockey, that's your moment, and that's when you've switched everything else off that's just happened 5-10 seconds before.
And that was shown because of the way he regrouped after that semi-final performance. You know, majority of players after playing like that would have been dreaded playing in a final. I personally know I would have. I'd have been, oh God, what am I going to do here?
Don't want to show yourself.
And especially when you've just watched Pricey just put in a performance of his life, you'd be absolutely dreading it. But all credit to him. That's why he's a world champion.
Well, too right. And what a day Gerwyn Price has had. And he's had it all up with a quarter-final against Nathan Aspinall. Let's have a look at it now. We join the action at 7-all.
Throw first.
And it's 7 apiece. And we're back on throw. Outstanding finishing.
Well, since the disappointment of that moment where he had one dart at tops, he's responded with 12, 14 and 14 dart legs to level things up.
That's mental strength, isn't it?
Yes.
$61. Thank you.
He's a little bit more battle hardened.
Yeah, there may well have been another shout out there.
I mean, there's hardly anybody in there. They can't be hard to spot and remove.
60.
May have affected Nathan's concentration.
Absolutely, of course it does. And they're good mates away from the hockey.
Look at that, Chris.
71.
9 19s to leave 1-3-2.
140. You got to win your 132. $92.
The way he likes to go. But he'll go that way because Aspinall isn't on a finish.
180. Got to win you require 40.
He's been put under pressure, but he
He's
handles
on
the
a 50
pressure.
flag.
Left dart in hand.
60
It's
flag,
4
Nathan to
legs
throw
on
first.
the spin. for Gerwyn Price. 7-4 down, he's turned it around, and he leads 8-7.
140. $100. $55.
Since the break, first leg back off the break.
85.
The next 5 legs, we've had 5 180s, 171, 12 darter from both, 2 14s and a 15.
59.
Pricey. And a chance here to get stuck in to the Aspinall throw again.
134.
Yeah, advantage. Gerwyn Price certainly here. Just needs to steady himself, doesn't he, after losing 4 on the spin? Just get
100.
a leg on the board.
Just to stop the rock. Dear. May have to take this 147 out.
100. Nathan, you require 147.
Yeah, hope for better there. Price will come back. Should get a dart
97.
at least a dart at tops.
82.
To a double 16.
Oh, instead, absolutely.
Can't see it.
50.
Oh, well, what a
Nathan,
great
you
chance
require
that was.
50.
That really wasn't in the script, though. He was looking for 25, 17 and tops, wasn't he? You don't often see Gerwyn Price over on double 16, and you can see him there behind Nathan. He knows that that's a great chance gone, but will he get another one? Is this to stay in it?
34. Gerwyn, you require 32.
What a change in this game.
Double 8 for 5 legs on the spin.
Instead, it's 5 missed
28.
darts.
Nathan, you
To go
require
9-7 up,
16.
and he would have been throwing for it.
He's on the 16th flag, Nathan. 17th flag,
Now he
Gerwyn
does
to
stop the
throw
rock
first.
with a 19 dart hold of throw.
177.
Take that.
$100.
Showing a little bit of patience.
Hello.
Now then.
140.
Now, the way they both performed, I suppose.
It's about right.
We expect and demand
140.
a deciding leg.
They had a great semi-final at the UK Open that 11-9.
11-9, yeah. Aspinall winning.
Nathan.
And of course, winning the final.
Didn't have a lot left in that final, did he?
100. Gerwyn, you require 54.
Referee George Noble letting Gerwyn Price know he wants
He's on the
54.
17th flag, Gerwyn Price. 18th flag, Nathan to throw first.
Within one, but I just wonder, you know, going back to that last leg when he wanted the 82 and he missed those 5 darts. Aspinall doing his best now to take us to a decider. Was he put off his stride because he didn't get the 25? What a match! Oh, and another. Well, that'll do. It's the same.
77.
Well, we're on a 9. Double 20s, double 12
144.
to take us to a decider.
Only ever seen one in the history of the World Series.
96.
Phil Taylor in Sydney 5 years ago.
130. Nathan, you require 48.
To force a deciding leg. Ah, brilliant.
Back to back. 11 dart legs in this match. And 11 from Pricey.
Well, we said half an hour ago, didn't we?
Aspinall.
That how important could winning the ball in the practice room be?
100.
Price with the darts, one leg of darts to go through to the semi-finals.
123.
Fabulous drama.
Match that's produced
and entertainment.
12 180s, a 177, a 171. The deciding leg of the contest.
And Price, remember, had 5 darts to go 9-7 up and throw for the match. What a wonderful response from young Nathan Aspinall. 6 darts from 198. It looks like he might need them.
44.
Oh, 180 followed by that. Opens the door for Price here.
Needs another treble, ideally. Surprised didn't go across to the 18s there.
54.
This would be fitting to finish off. A wonderful match from both. That's
55.
Easy.
2 really. He hit the 180 and then he's hit really 2 poor visits.
Thinking about winning.
He's going to get the first opportunity now. No big treble for Price.
62.
He has left tops.
99.
No, he's left. Yeah, I thought he'd left tops. He's left 44. 99 for Aspinall. Yes. For the match.
63. Got to win, you require 44.
Bit of Motown, 4 tops for Gerwyn Price. He miscounted off the 106.
It is 44 for the match. Aspinall. Couldn't look. And there we have the celebrations from Gerwyn Price. 2 great friends producing great entertainment. Nathan missing 1 dart at double 18. Price coming back brilliantly from 7-4 down. A fantastic quarter-final, full of drama, full of controversy, full of entertainment. And it's Gerwyn Price who will take on Peter Wright in the semi-final.
He did take him on, and he did beat him, and he's just won the final as well. A wonderful day for Gerwyn Price. So we're seeing a lot of the old muscles coming out at the moment, aren't we? But Nathan Aspinall, one of the top players who can win a title, has won major title, and darts itself is in pretty good health. Coming to these tournaments, we're not thinking, oh, it's going to be this player to win it, as he wins every tournament.
Yeah, I can't remember a greater era of so many great players in one pool. Before, it's been a case of Phil was the dominant force, and then, of course, when that was handed on to Michael van Gerwen, who dominated for, I don't know, maybe 6 years, but those days are over. And I don't think there's not one that is head and shoulders above the rest anymore. I don't think we'll see a dominant force in darts for a very long time, unless one of these kids come out of the pack that we don't know of yet, very much like MVG did, and takes the game by storm. But they'd have to do something that we've not seen before.
Yeah, there's a lot of good young players.
I know there is. Frightening.
Development tours and World Youth Championships this weekend, strangely enough, and you see some young players coming up. They've just got no fear whatsoever. They see all these big darts tournaments on TV, and they want to be involved. They want to be part of it. They want to play. They want to earn the money, get the accolades, win the trophies. But say we look at the quarter-final today, and Glenn beat Michael, obviously, but we genuinely said that any one of the 8 can win. So it reiterates what Chris just said there, that, you know, there's so many players there that it's not always that pick of he's going to win it, there's no point in watching. It's getting shared around quite often, not just on the Players' Championships, but on the TV events also.
What about Michael van Gerwen? Because we haven't talked about him today. He lost to Glenn Durrant last night. And he's had issues, hasn't he, in recent times with his form, with his darts, with his confidence. He's talked about lockdown really affecting him. It's affected a lot of the players. Where do you stand on him with the new darts manufacturer and having to go back to the old set?
No, I'm not really having it. There was no problem in the UK Open, which we covered. He had a tournament average of over 105 and had one of the toughest draws I can literally ever remember anyone getting in the UK Open. Listen, if he is at his very best, he's quoted that when I'm at my best, I'm unbeatable. Yeah, just about, but not. He's not at his very best anymore. You know, he keeps getting found out. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ability now to hit that turbo button and find legs of 11 and 12 darts from absolutely nowhere. And that fear factor is gone. People are not scared to play him anymore. He's not like what we had. You know, I'm not saying we were beaten before we played Phil, but we probably were. There's so many players now that can do what he does. When Phil was around, there was a few of us that, on the odd occasion, for a very short period, could do it. We couldn't do it for, you know, long sets and legs. Where Michael can, but not only Michael can, Glenn Durrant can, Peter Wright can, Nathan Aspinall can, Gerwyn Bryce can, and
top 16, they've probably all beaten him somewhere. Whereas you go back in the era you mentioned there, it probably didn't happen as much. And so they all take from that every time they play somebody like Michael. They know that they're good enough to beat him. They know they have beat him. And quite often it's happening more often than Michael would expect, obviously. I agree with Chris there, but, you know, if Michael is at his best, he probably still isn't. I mean, we have to remember he's still world number one.
Yeah.
But he's not winning and being as dominant as he was.
OK, thank you both. It's been a pleasure to have you with us, and darts in great health at the moment, isn't it? And not too long to wait for our next darts here on ITV4. We'll be back on October the 29th for the European Championship. Very much looking forward to that. And 11 months ago, if you recall, Rob Cross beat Gerwyn Price in that very tournament. That was in Dortmund. But tonight in Salzburg, the Welshman gained revenge. And it looked as though he rather enjoyed that moment, didn't he? Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next month.
I'm here in the players' room with darts legend Chris Mason. We're going to have a chat about the difficulties of a 147 at snooker compared to how awkward and difficult it is to make a 9-dart finish at darts. I mean, look, I don't know what you think, Chris. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. It's one of these strange ones, right? I've got to stick up for my sport of snooker, saying how difficult it is to make a 147. You tell me what you think about darts. I know you're a snooker fan first.
Yeah.
What's your ice break?
47. Which
That's
isn't
all right.
No, it's a bit poor. I'm a better pool player. I'm only good over sort of 7'9 1/4, and pool's a little bit closer to my vision.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm not ever going to say anything bad about darts because I love the darts. I love watching it all, and I think a 9-dart finish is one of the most exciting things. Whenever I'm watching it live, it never seems to happen. It's only when I go into another room, then I come back. Oh, there's been a 9-dart finish. I missed it again.
144, two trebles. There's one. Treble 20 for double 12. Double 12 for Van Gerwen! Double 12 for Van Gerwen! Where did that come from?
Technically, I think snooker's far more difficult game. But then with the 9 darts, the atmosphere that it's done in, it's very noisy now at the darts, and there's so much riding on it. But for me, I think snooker, it's just so much more technically difficult. There's a lot more moving parts.
Okay, I mean, obviously, there's over 50 televised 147s been made.
There it is! Beautiful! 147!
Unbelievable.
Absolutely magnificent break.
In darts, one thing is, the treble doesn't change in size. It's always there, and it is a formulaic thing of going bang, bang, bang 9 times. In snooker, occasionally the pockets are bigger, and that makes it easier. I mean, if some of these guys played on some of the club tables that are around, right, and they could play tournaments on those where the pockets are twice as big, they would make more 147s. I'm still not saying it's easy.
Yeah, well, we have a similar thing in darts. Modern boards are technology that has taken over. The wires are smaller. The wires are now fixed. It's almost like a blade that's put into the board. So you don't get you used to get years ago where you could actually close the wire down if you were on the top wire, or open it up if you were inside the wire. Now they don't move. The target area is much bigger. It's no coincidence that all of a sudden all these 9 darters have come, but they're on different equipment. I mean, we have bounce outs, you have kicks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, yeah, the dreaded kick. And the other thing is, I mean, there's a table behind us here, right? And straight away, you see that the black's tied up. So there's not going to be
I didn't notice that, by the way.
Yeah, no, so straight away, that frame is probably out of bounds, whereas in every game of darts, you start off with that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, even with the double finish, the double start, double finish game, the one they do in Dublin, I mean, we've had 2 in 1 game. You know,
That's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Taylor at 2 in 1 match in the Premier League against James Wade. You know, I can't ever see that happening in snooker. I mean, I know it's been close a few times, and you'd think if anybody was going to do it, it'd be somebody like Ronnie. But even he's not come close to doing 2 in a match.
So what's the most famous 9-dart finish for you? I've got one in my mind.
I think John Lowe's first one in '84, because it just hadn't been done before. That was a bit special.
He has done it! A moment of darting history. The first ever televised 9-dart 501.
He went an unusual way, but it's never been done since, 51, 54, double 18, where the standard way would be 60, 57, 24, or 60, 45, 36. You see a lot now with Michael and Phil, especially they use treble 19s a lot, so they leave 144. So that means 2 treble 20s in the same area. And you would think that would be easier, but once 1 dart's in there, you know, you're covering the treble 20 effectively and making it more difficult.
In snooker, what's difficult is not only doing it, but when the reds go at the other end of the table, you have to get on the black. You can't obviously you can't play on a lower value colour, so that's difficult. And the other thing, in the 147 break, no one even mentions this, but the pink will never be on its spot because it's never been potted. It's always going to have been moved. It's never going to be on its spot because it's going to be somewhere else.
In the way.
Sometimes it's in the middle of the table, but it just can't be on its spot. It's so unlikely. So you get down to the colours and now you're worried about it.
2 balls shy of perfection.
140.
Fly the flag.
Immaculate! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful! Listen, we've had a chat, right, and it's all been very friendly. I thought it was going to get a bit nasty. I think a 147 at snooker is more difficult, but I think a 9-darter is also a brilliant achievement. Sitting on the fence, what do you think?
No,
Final word.
No, I think the 147's more difficult.